on fired up. Get y'all where you can see somewhat. And I'm fixing to make some fish tacos. Brody said he wanted fish tails. It's just me and him. His mama's been gone all day. So we don't know how this is going to work out. You going to behave tonight while I'm doing a live? You sure? Well, come get over here. Tell everybody hey.
Hey, y'all.
They can't see you. You got to look up there and see if you can see yourself.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Spirit Outdoors.
He got it nailed down, y'all. So anyway, we went to Kemper Lake yesterday.
Yeah.
And we didn't really do real smoky.
Nope.
I have yet to master that lake. Now, I went up there a couple of years ago, and I absolutely wore the brim out. I took minnows yesterday. I found structure down at 20 foot. Fish wouldn't bite. I could see fish on them on my electronics. Fish wouldn't bite. We went up where there was brim beds. Brim wouldn't hardly bite. We caught one brim, and we caught 6, 7, 8 bass. I throwed a bunch of them back. They was real little. We kept enough to cook. And then I had a bag of fish. I'm fixing to turn this down just a little bit. I had a bag of fish that I'm trying to get out of this freezer. So I'm going to cook them. I don't know if they're going to be good or not. Verdict's still out on that. I wanted to show y'all my light. My sister, when she moved into her house, we was helping to move, there was this old antique gas looking light. She's like, you want that? You like antiques? I'm like, yeah, I want it. So y'all check this light out. This was an old oil lamp. I didn't destroy anything about it. You fill these canisters up, from my understanding, with oil, and it comes down through here, and there's a globe here. Well, I put an electric light bulb up there, and I just run the wire, put me a cap on the top where it exhausts, and I run it and hung this thing up here. So, I mean, I think it looks cool. I just think it looks cool. So anyway, I am fixing to cook up some fish tacos. So watch back, Brody. Don't get up here and get burnt. So the first thing, now Brody wants fish tails. So there's one fish right here that has a tail on it. The rest of this is crappie fillets. And I'm going to just lay them on here. And then we've got some bass fillets. And I tried out this morning my new fillet knife that I made. And y'all, that thing worked wonderfully. I'll show you, I'll let you look at it. I know a lot of you have already seen it. There's his mama. She's been gone all day yard selling. Like, she took a bunch of our stuff that we needed to get rid of to the yard sale. So we had one brim, and I filleted him off. We put everything on him. I like fish tacos. I'm sure I'm fixing to have more meat than I can possibly eat, but this stuff's got to get cooked and fed to the dog or something. It's got to come out of that freezer. And I turned ribs down on everything for the starters right here. All right. We fixing to go. I don't know why I laid that down over there. I want to get all this together. Man, that is already sticking down. I am probably a lot hotter than I need to be. Turn that way down for a second.
Y'all, make sure y'all cook that y'all's fish. If y'all catch big old bass.
Did you catch big old bass yesterday?
Yeah. I caught one somebody got away. What are you putting on there?
Eat them raw. Homemade seasoning that I made out
You
here.
put it on my food?
I did. It ain't hot. Hey, you didn't want no seasoning on it? Well, sir. He wanted his raw. And I am cooking with olive oil tonight. I don't cook with a lot of olive oil. I'm bad to cook with a lot of lard. But these fish like this seem to like this better. And I'm going to cook them a little slower. One reason they was a sticking. And I've got a regulator under here now. And the knobs up there. So I'm fixing to cut up some cabbage and whatnot over here. Get y'all turned around. I walk round and round and round. So the next thing, I'm going to take my little old bitty knife here. I got a lime and a lemon. I don't know why Brody didn't want no seasoning on his stuff. It ain't hot. Most of that red is paprika. But fish is just good when you add all this stuff to it now. This way anyway. If you keep frying it, you might want to hold off on this. Mmm. I have got a cabbage head I have got to get chopped up over here. That is probably more than enough. And I have got some leftover taco stuff. Over here in a plate from the other night. It's got a little bit of cheese, lettuce, and some tomatoes, and I got my taco shell. Alright, I'm fixing to start flipping all of this. Right, we're gonna have to turn it back up now. I was scared it was gonna get ahead of me while I was doing all of that. And I needed to have cut most of the ribs out of this, and I did not. I was thinking I would just be able to do that right there. And I can, but I'm gonna have to sit here now and do all of it on him because I was in a hurry. Me and Brody had been cutting grass and all kind of stuff today. We wired up that light, and the whole time we was wiring it up, he was a begging, can we cut grass? He likes to ride on that lawnmower. I'm getting all these bones right here. off over here to the side. It would have been smarter to have gotten them out beforehand, like I said. As much fish as I got, them is out on that piece. You can just about take this right here and slide them out once they're partially baked. Yeah, look at there. I just slid every one of them out. I like to make sure though. Reckon I'll be able to tell them bass from them crappie. So how y'all doing tonight? I realize I ain't keeping up with comments right now. I am just doing my thing over here. Good to see all of you. I see Mike Reed hop on there and different ones. My mind is on what I'm doing, Carrie. Good to see all of y'all. We'll get sat down here in a little bit and chit chat and whatnot ever. And I'm curious, is these half freezer burnt crappie gonna be any count, reckon? They ought to be. I feel like it'll be all right. Them bones is really not hard to get out of there like this. You can just about just slide them right out. But my fillet knife, I've got to do a little bit of grinding. Richard, I just decided on these Friday night lives, y'all, we're going to sit down and have conversation and all, but I wanted to break it up and let y'all see this. What I am doing right now, y'all, honest to God, is about how I film videos. I just turn the camera on and go at it. David, how's it going, my buddy? So really, I ain't doing anything different than when I just film videos. All right, we got all the bones out. I may find a little bone here, there, and yonder. I'm gonna cook them down to where we got bass, crappie, and a brim all mixed up here. But Brody ain't gonna eat nothing but that one fish right there, and he's already mad about it, ain't he? I'm finna go over it again now with this homemade seasoning. And I put a lot of lemon pepper and garlic salt in there because I like that the most. And I'm gonna eat this mainly with just cabbage. Like I said, I got some tomato over there. And y'all, I don't know how this works, but I watched old Bruce Mitchell do it. He took that water, shot it on there, and it loosened that seasoning up. From, that seasoning on this Blackstone will stick to your surface here. Yeah, it'll come right off. You can get it back up in your meat. I like that. Oh, Bruce Mitchell, I like watching him. Now, he ain't on live on, I think he put some stuff on YouTube, but he's on Facebook. And usually time I catch it, he's done about through with what he's doing there. Where's that 2-second dog at? Oh, let's go into him anyway. I was trying to keep it over there in a pile. Oh, my oil. My deal right here ain't real level. And everything runs to that corner back over yonder. So anyway, y'all can't see what I'm doing over here. Let me turn y'all down just a little bit right here. I got this all chopped up now. And if there's a bone in there now, you can just about, it'll come to fruition. Like right there, you can see them. Well, I said I could. That wasn't a bone. That was just a piece of meat. Somebody's probably squalling that I done chopped this crappie up. I figure that crappie, though, that I had was freezer burnt. I'm going to add just a little bit of oil around the edge of this because it is drying up. I ain't really trying to get it in my meat. I'm trying to keep my surface done. There was a bone. That is why I'm stirring in this, y'all. If there's a bone in there, it'll flop up there. I got the majority of them out. All right. That is probably about all I need to do. I'm going to go ahead and cut this thing off. That surface will stay hot. Is that all I needed to do? Eat this lime. Wind has been howling here today, which is why I went fishing yesterday. But apparently something in the weather was wrong, because they wouldn't act right. But I said I was swearing off of that Kemper Lake. I've tried to fish it. It's a beautiful lake. And bass, if you like to bass fish, you're good there. But anyway, as far as crappie, the crappie stay deep. And I can't find them. See, I got from sunny Largo, Florida. Welcome. Yeah, Richard, that's what somebody told me, said they had lockjaw. I hope Brody's his crappie tail over here is good. I don't know what got him on a gig. He wanted fish tail. Well, that's the only fish we had with us that had a tail. And now he's mad because I put seasoning on it, I reckon. Whoa, now. My rag had done fell off my shoulder. Alright, I'm fixing to make me a taco. I'm finna put this meat, though, right here on this plate. I tried to sell this plate, don't nobody want it, so I'm stuck with it. Now I got about 3 of them. What's that look like, y'all? Don't know what I'm gonna do with Brody. The tail right there. I'm gonna leave that stuff on there and let it get crispy, I reckon. Throw that to the dog here after a while. Ah. See how I want to do this. I'm gonna go get my cabbage and put it in here.
Dad, what's this done?
It's done.
Already?
Yeah. Did you get mad at me because I put seasoning on your fish?
Yeah.
Why? I put seasoning on all the fish all the time. Now look, buddy, you're...
Fish tail. My fish tail.
Watch back. Watch. This thing's got bones in it, bud.
Oh.
Okay? Let Daddy help you out here in a second. Okay? Let me pull these top bones all out. Let me pull all these bottom bones out.
Yeah, good in the garden.
We'll just hold up, yeah. Alright. Where's my knife? Let me get him situated over here, y'all. Alright. Now I'm going to cut the tail off and let you keep it. And then I'm going to cut the meat off the bone, okay?
Okay. We don't like the bone.
No, sir. We don't want no bones in nothing.
We hate them all.
And if you happen to feel a bone in your mouth, you just spit the whole lot of food out, okay?
Okay.
Now there's bones in this, but the tail you can bite off. Don't eat none of this. In fact, let me just get that up out of there. All right, you ought to be good to go, little buddy. I hope I got him fixed up. Hey, John. Yeah, I had to make sure my little buddy, y'all. Me and him, we have worked hard today. Hey, we got down there in the garden. I don't know if y'all can see. We might walk down there with the camera here in a minute. We cleaned out under the rows. I've got some peas up. We got corn up. It's about yay high. We cut all the backyard and part of this right over here where my beds where I moved them from. And we've done a lot today. We peeled another log down there to drag up here to put on top of that. I've smoothed all that dirt out. I mean, we've done a lot of odd and chores, but I ain't made not one dime in the last 3 days.
No bone in that fish.
Oh, Lord. And we cleaned our fish this morning. We put them on a cooler last night. All right, here's my fork. All right, get my fish meat up in this taco. Now, I have got flour, store-bought flour tortillas. Get y'all where y'all can see what's going on. And I know there's some.
Is good.
We gotta pray, Brody. Have you started eating?
Yep.
We gotta say the blessing, son. Let me get my taco fixed, and we'll say the blessing. I'm sure he's done started snacking a little bit, ain't you? You don't like it?
I do like it.
You do like it, okay.
I do like my
Put some
fish
cabbage
tail.
in here.
I love my fish tail.
I have got some tomato and some cheese. And y'all, for tacos, I'm a fan of Valentina now, because it ain't hot hardly at all. It's got a little bit of heat to it, but not much.
I don't want none of that.
Brody said he didn't want none of that. All right, look. Let's tell him a blessing right quick. Ready? Let me take my rag off him.
I don't have a hat.
Okay, well, let's bow your head. Thank you, Lord, for the woods in the creek. Thank you, Lord, for the food we eat.
Thank you, Lord, for the woods in the creek.
Thank you, Lord, for the fish that swim.
Thank you, Lord, for the fish that swim.
Thank you, Lord, for all of them.
Thank you, Lord, for all of them.
Thank you, Lord, for the white-tailed doe.
Thank you, Lord, for the white-tailed doe.
Thank you, Lord, for all the plants that grow.
Thank you, Lord, for all the plants that grow.
Thank you, Lord, for the birds that sing.
Thank you, Lord, for the birds that sing.
Thank you, Lord, for everything.
Thank you, Lord, for everything.
Amen.
Amen.
Y'all, sometimes we mix that up one way or the other, the lines, and we just about ever, my mama and daddy started that for my brother and sister whenever they were kids. And then they added to it over the years as they were growing up. The kids added some lines to it. Or, well, my brother and sister, which obviously ain't kids now, but as they were kids, they added some of the lines, and then me and Brody added the white-tailed doe and the plants that grow because we do a lot of foraging and all that. And y'all, it just, I don't know, it's so true and so real and pure that I could not share that with everybody.
That tastes good. Do I have a tomato?
Yeah. Rake you some out. Rake them in that side plate right there. All right, that's enough, ain't it?
Okay, that's enough.
Did you not get nothing to drink? Let me adjust. I'll have y'all seasick tonight now. We done jostled the camera around everywhere pretty good. You done had a bath, hadn't you? You needed one. You was filthy. He done took up with getting a shower. We ain't got nothing to drink, have we? Let me get us a bottle of water.
Good that we have some drinks here.
We don't need no more Coca-Cola. Me and him will share a drink. He's about the only person I'll share a drink with, and I don't know why. I won't share a drink with my wife. I mean, she gets a sip somewhere. I mean, I ain't like grossed out and won't drink it, but as far as us just getting a drink and sharing it, which I reckon I ain't worried about him drinking up all my drink. Maybe the difference. Y'all ever put cabbage in your fish tacos, or y'all strictly lettuce people? And see, I don't overthink things. Somebody said something one day, made a comment, something I was cooking, said, oh, that's supposed to have this. I kind of get tickled myself. I don't do any like supposed to anything. When I decide I'm going to cook something, it's more of an idea than it is a recipe, and then I make it my own from the very beginning. I don't measure seasonings. I just, whatever I like, I put it together. I'm bad to go in there in the refrigerator and say, what have we got? And start cooking with it. So, I mean, so for me to cook something, be like, is that how that's supposed to be cooked? Or that's what goes in that? I don't have no idea. I just cook together what I like. And it always winds up good. But now I'm going to tell you what makes food really good. There's two things that makes food unbelievably good. And that's wait till you about near starved to cook and eat, and to cook it on the creek bank down there. Them two things are they money every time.
I'm thirsty.
Hold it. Got it? Hold it. All right, ease up. All right. Roxanne has done treed something down there. Let me see if I can get the iPad. I can see comments coming up on there, but y'all, it's hard for me to read them up on there. Not charging. Well, sir. Might as well unplug that. This iPad is old. It wants to update YouTube. Not now. I figure it'll be completely obsolete and you have to buy a new one, which probably won't happen. Whoa, I can hear myself talking on there. We don't want to hear all that. Uh-oh. Live chat. There we go. Donnie Hill, Eric and Barbara, David Lee, Amanda Tudor, Homestead Princess. Glad all of y'all there. Alexander, Martin, Melvin, Marshman, Darlene, John Thomas, Uncle Sasquatch. How are you tonight? Modern Outdoors.
Make sure y'all.
I'm sure I'll skip somebody, y'all. Tyler, how are you, buddy? Keith, L Square, Crawfish, Randy Beeson, Carrie Beard, Jessica, Allen, Lloyd Morris, how are you, bud? A Gate Love, Michigan Prepper. All right.
Move.
I seen today, me and Brody was in the house. I've got a cut on the end of my finger while I was sharpening that fillet knife this morning. I nicked it. Jeff, hey, bud. Oh, Diane. I seen where the bad weather was up that way. They were talking about it, and I didn't even have the volume on the TV. I was in there squaring away something while me and Brody was relaxing. He gets fascinated with that delay on that seeing itself for some reason. Are you through eating your fish tail?
I'm through.
Okay. All our tools is still out here from wiring that light up. I gotta have that bottle of water here. You through with this water?
Yeah.
It's delayed. He comes over there and monkeys around and runs over here and then he watches himself run off. But anyway, talking about the weather, I did see that the weather was coming. And I don't know how soon it's supposed to be here. I have not looked at all. But I did realize that was why the wind is blowing like it is today. The pressure is going up, which is probably why the fish wasn't biting good yesterday. But you know that ain't always the case. I guess it has to do with how much the pressure fluctuates. Because I have been down here when I knew where fish was and was catching them and go right before a front moved in and just slaughter them. But I think that's more so in the fall. What, bud?
I want a piece of taco bread.
Okay. Well, get you a tortilla shell out of there. He likes to eat just them tortilla shells. Come here, I want to get the whole thing out. You're not going to eat the whole thing? Well, come here. Look, tear you a piece off and I'll make a taco out of the rest of it. He won't eat much. Yeah. Look, let me show you something. Come here. Hold that with the other hand. All right, now let go with this hand. Now look at that elbow right there. Did you use soap when you got in the tub? You sure? Yeah, he didn't use no soap at all. Yeah, man, I have get a lot of comments about Brody growing up and people talking about cherish it, y'all. I am very much well aware of this. One of the things about Brody, the reason he's here, is if y'all go back and listen to my testimony, how God changed my life video, I missed my daughters growing up, y'all. I missed it. And I was sitting here. I was here while she grew up and missed it. And it was due to me being a drunk. So, yeah, I'm cherishing this. I wish I could go back and repair what I missed with her, but those years are gone. Nothing you can do about it.
Dad, I want a taco.
Well, buddy, you're going to have to I got my hands full now. And this right here, y'all, is my homemade hot sauce. Oh, that's going to be warm. It come right on out of there, didn't it? Get that rolled up. I don't even use a plate when I'm eating such as this. I don't see no point in it. Let me eat this, buddy, and I'll make you a taco, okay? Okay?
Okay.
Whoa. So yeah, y'all, I cherish these moments. I try to, and it's like yesterday on the lake. We ain't catching fish fish. We're getting frustrated, and I have to be real careful because I get really into what I'm doing, focused on and I'm trying for him to learn. And every time I turn around, y'all, he had a knot made. Oh Lord! Did you make any knots in your line yesterday?
Watch this.
Yeah.
Bow!
We carried a cooler full of snacks. I took him with me one day, and we didn't carry near about enough snacks with us. Richard, sorry to hear that, man. We'll be praying for him. That has got to be tough right there now. I don't, that's got to be one of the hardest things to deal with right there. But with him, we carried a lunchbox. Michelle made us 2 sandwiches. We had 2 apples, 2 oranges, 2 half of bags of chips, which wasn't a little pack. I mean, we talking about like regular chips that was half each. She just rolled them up and put a clamp on them. We had 2 different chips and 2 bottles of water, and we had a Mountain Dew and a ginger ale. Y'all, old Brody worked that lunchbox over. He ate both sandwiches, both bags of chips, 2 apples, and 1 orange. I told him I started calling him Boo Boo from Yogi Bear. I am a fan of these fish tacos, y'all. I mean, as far as just throwing together a quick meal and it being good, but it's like I was talking to a buddy on the phone there a while ago. He had went today and caught a bunch of fish somewhere, and was telling me about it, and he said he was gonna try a new recipe. I'm like, yeah, I get sick of frying fish over and over and over, the same thing. So
Hey, you're not gonna faster than me.
what are you doing?
What is that?
Found one of them bones. What is that, Lloyd? The first fruits of what? I'm lost. I don't know if I've been keeping up with a conversation or. Grateful Ed, you hit the nail on the head. That is old Amos Moses. He can eat up his weight in groceries. Oh, Passover. I got you. I got you. Yes, yes, yes. Well, our preacher preached y'all some from Revelations Wednesday night. And he preached out of chapter 12. And I sat there and read chapter 13. And I had to go back. I can't memorize stuff like that. But it's definitely stuff I can read it and look around and I can see a lot of it. We definitely is whenever they start building that temple over there, it's gonna take off wide open. And we're gonna see war. But there's a lot that I don't understand, because the Bible says when they cry peace, then sudden destruction. So at some point, I have heard that the Muslims and the Israelites are going to agree to share the temple. Don't know that to be a fact. But if that was to happen, that's most definitely when it's going to all break loose. Because they'll never be. I got both of them rags and dirtied them up. Because there'll never be peace between the children of Israel, the Christians, and the Muslims. Just ain't, it ain't supposed to be. Cindy, I'd give my tooth to have his energy. Irene, there's a guy I watch from Australia. Do you ever watch Rocket Kit? He's a guy very fun to watch. He takes he's got a boat now, but he was taking a little bitty skiff out and sometimes a kayak out in the ocean and catching some fish and eating them, do catch and cook. And I mean, he makes really good videos and has a lot of followers. And I watch him simply because it is from not here, you know. I mean, it is totally foreign to what I watch. Palmettos said hi to you, Brody. I had 2 of these, and I run over there and grabbed them, and I'm sure now they all need to. They've been laying on that table, and I've cut grass, so I'm sure they all need washing now. I done throwed it on the ground. But anyway, I need to carry the rest of that fish in the house. My lips is on fire. Yeah, Larry, it could, there's a lot of speculation on what's going to happen. But the building of that temple is one of the key things, and that is why they talk about all this genocide and all this stuff, and you know, anti-Semitics or Semitism and anti-Israel protests and anti-Palestine, pro-Israel protests, and all this stuff. When the whole ball of wax is, when they brought them red heifers in, and they have them all, from what I understand, in the country now, in Israel, ready to make those sacrifices that are to be made to build that temple, that is what sparked Hamas to attack. They don't want that to happen. And I think they felt like they could stop it. And what you're seeing is a lot of the weapons that we left in Afghanistan are going to come into play in a lot of this. That was one of the things I was totally not for us walking off and leaving all that stuff over there. I mean, at all cost. And I realized I wanted our people home. I wish all our people would get out from over there. Because you're never going to patrol all that country and keep peace. And I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I've never been over there. I talked to a lot of people that has been over there, and from what I hear, we're not really doing a lot of good over there. We just somewhat policing. I mean, they can't go over there and fix anything. You want a taco?
I had a powdered donut.
A powdered donut. Where'd you get it from? So you don't want a taco?
I do want one.
You do want a taco?
Yeah. Just
Palmetto Gaming. It's Cody. You go to school with Cody?
Who?
I don't know. You know a Cody? Come here. How you want meat on them?
No, I just want just meat.
You do want meat? Fish. How much? That much?
No, a little bit more. On that piece too.
Okay. You just want meat. Cheese?
Yeah.
You
no,
want?
no cheese. I want tomatoes too.
All right. Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, come here. Let me roll it up. Let me have your plate right here.
Where we catch those fish out?
Well, some of them we caught yesterday. You don't remember?
I do.
All right, hold it good. Now, there you go. Are you through eating when you eat that? Most likely. All right, y'all. I am going to carry this other stuff in right quick. So it don't get full of bugs out here. I got part of a head of cabbage, and I had some slices of lemon. I had some mayonnaise. I thought I was going to use it, but I didn't. Well, sir. All right, I may have to adjust the camera again. Let's see. I want to get it where y'all can see good. We'll sit here and see if we can straighten out some of these conversations and get on one thing. Yeah, Irene, I could have done with some green onion cut up in that for sure. But I didn't go cut any, and I got some right there. I got in a hurry and I didn't make it. Jason, what's that? That make you one what? That plate? I'll sell you that one right there, cause it is. I put fish on it one night last Friday, and then it's been sitting on the counter till a while ago. It was stacked up with another one that we've got sold actually. It's got the blue speckles on the other one, and they bought $65. Yeah, Richard T, that boy is growing. I mean, growing. So anyway, we was talking about the stuff in Israel. There's a lot that I see going on, and as it talks about the beast and the sea and the beast with the 10 horns, and there was one wounded unto death, and how they worship the dragon that give it power and all that, and we're gonna see all of that happen. And each beast is a nation, and I listened to a guy talking. He said each beast is a godless nation, is why it's referred to as a beast. Now, I don't know that, because I had heard, you hear a lot of stuff, and you don't know that everything is correct. I've heard a lot of teachings on Revelation So that is one reason I don't just teach Revelations. There's a lot of it that I think this is the way this is going to work out, and I think this is what's. But there's no way to know for sure. Everything is a feeling, and unless God really impresses me, hey, this is what you need to share, the best I can tell you is we gonna see hard times. Is it gonna be considered the tribulation period? I don't know. I just know we gonna see hard times because there's just a lot gonna happen between now and then, and I feel like we're gonna see some persecution in our time. And I'll tell you what I do feel like God impressed upon me. One of the reasons I teach medicinal plants and I try to teach and push some survival stuff, and I'm not talking about survival stuff as in let's pack a book backpack and let's play with these survival gear and go hike through the woods and play camp. You know, that's different. I'm talking about let's buckle down on this place and we're gonna have to feed ourselves here. That is more of a practical sense. You know, I mean, if they do make it where you can't pay your taxes and they do start kicking people, I mean, there's a lot that could happen, but we're going to see hard times. And I think it's going to be more along the lines of the Depression style hard times. I don't think they're going to go through the nation and just try to kick everybody off their land, because I think they're going to try to regulate it. We may lose some land. We may have to say, okay, you know, there may be people that's got a lot of farmland, surrender it. I think that's one of the things they're going to try to get control of us. And this is over time. I ain't talking about in the next couple of weeks. But the thing I do feel inside is we're promised revival. I mean, you read Joel, there's some talk of revival in those days. You read the second, third chapter of Joel and line it up with a lot of what's going on, and you'll see that there's going to be revival. Well, people are not going to turn to God until they need God. In other words, they're not going to just all of a sudden this happy-go-lucky spirit come across everybody and people all just start wanting to go to church. People are not going to turn to God until what they've trusted in don't work. And right now, people trust in their money. They trust in their education. They trust in their lawyers and their loan officers. They trust in modern medicine and doctors. And when all of this stuff fails people, and then there's a lot of people that trust in the government. I mean, they absolutely depend on the government to feed them, clothe them, take care of them. And we're fixing to see a time where we got to take care of ourselves. And that's why I'm trying to get there ahead of everybody else. I'm trying to get to where I can take care of me here for the most part. I'm not trying to become like a hermit and say, well, I don't go to town and buy this and do all. I mean, there's a lot of YouTube channels that have exploded because they, you know, well, we don't do it, we off grid and we're all this. And I'm not against all of that. But I'm trying to do it in a practical mindset that most everybody can adapt to. And the more hardcore you prepare and do it, probably the better off you'll be. But it's you have to find a happy medium in there. As long as I can go to town, I'm going to go to town and buy groceries and buy all this stuff. But we're fastly approaching a time to where it's not that, hey, all of a sudden it's not going to be there. You're not going to be able to afford it. I mean, the light bills is going up. Food is going up. Your gas is going up. A lot of this stuff is going up. And that being said, it's going to be hard to buy the things that you normally buy. Well, all of a sudden, it's going to cut out all the extra that there is. And there'll be some people that flourish through this probably and do well. I mean, there always is. Even in the Great Depression, there was people that profited. But the majority of people struggled. And I think across the board, we're going to see hard times come upon us. And at that point, people are going to realize, Brody, look, quit hitting the camera. You go play out there, okay? People are going to realize I've got to have God. And there's a lot of people that absolutely don't even believe in God, don't believe God exists. And they're going to have to see God working in somebody's life to say, hey, you know, that may be real. That may be the route I need to take. And that's one of the things that I try to portray here. It's a little bit of survival. It's a little bit of plant medicine. It's a little bit of living off the land. It's a little bit of good hunting and fishing and you know, sharing with you the tips and tricks I've learned over life. But largely here, it's about sharing with you a life of blessings of God. And not monetarily blessings. We're talking about rich in life, rich in good times, rich in joy, rich in peace. Y'all, the world is coming apart at the seams. And I'm sitting here, I'm okay. Does it affect me? Yes. Is it hard at times? Yes. Is it a struggle at times? Yes. Am I worried about it? No. Absolutely not worried about nothing. Because they can't eat you. If I lose everything I got my family, I can make it. I'll figure something out. I always have. I look back, God has always took care of me. And he always will. Not worried about this world. I mean, if my life is over and I pass from it, I believe in what's on the other side. So, all of that being said, I'm watching Israel. I'm seeing what's going on over there, but I'm not like consumed with it. I'm not like, oh, we got to keep our eyes on this. I'm keeping my eyes on him. I'm not really excited about Brody. Brody, please go on playing, okay? You're distracting me. Go on, play over yonder or wherever. But I'm not. I don't get all excited about what's happening in Israel. I mean, I see it. I'm aware of it, but it don't change my life not one bit. Not one bit. It don't. And that's the thing that I'm keeping. Diana, 9/11 was one, but look back after the Great Depression. We had a huge splurge of religion after the Civil War around in that time, and it tapered off, and then the Great Depression hit, and people struggled. People couldn't make it. And there was a lot of people that turned to God, and we had great revival in the southeastern part of the United States. And it's still, what revival is here is from a lot of that, because the South was largely the poorest part of, I mean, after the Civil War, it was hugely poor down here. Everything was pillaged and looted and all of that. And there was a lot of struggling. And people turn to God. And that is one of the things we're going to see again. Brody, I'm not going to tell you again, son. You finna have to go in the house if you can't behave. Alicia, I'll tell you something that woke me up. The reason I've got everything I've got, largely, is in 2009 when the recession hit. I went from a job making right at $1,100 a week here at home, company vehicle, didn't have, I mean, my vehicle, my new truck, that Chevrolet was brand new in 06. It was 2 or 3 years old. I still had $650 a month payments on it. I had a boat at the time I was paying on. I had a motorcycle I was paying on. I had a four-wheeler I was paying on. And my income dropped to $450 a week. It was cut over in half. More than in half, it dropped. And I didn't miss a payment. I didn't lose anything. I looked around and life got hard, but I was okay. I didn't lose nothing. We made it through. And I seen then, and my daddy told me, he said, son, he said, you don't make a living. You learn to live off what you make. And they ain't never been truer words spoke. It don't matter how much money you make, you'll learn to spend it all. It just is it's human nature. We just like that. Unless you're just like really self-disciplined, you gonna spend the majority of what you make. Uh, Now, if you start a savings plan from the get-go and it's automatically deposited into something where you don't get control of it, you only get like an allowance out of your check, then you can do that. That's probably the most practical way of saving money. Because if I ever get it, it's like there's bills going. It's gonna go somewhere. So yeah, you can buckle down when times hard. You'll figure out a way to make it. But I watch God provide for us and take care of us, and I learned through those lean times to trust God. And I paid everything off, and when I pay something off, I keep it. It's mine. I mean, you may have to work on stuff. It's like that Polaris Ranger sitting out there. I have to fix on it pretty regular. I'd love to have me a brand new Honda Pioneer, but I can't afford to go buy all that right now. I mean, I probably could, but I don't want to. I'd have to work a lot harder and put in a lot more hours of working, and I'd lose a lot of my getting to go fishing, and it ain't worth all that. It's just not. You're gonna sacrifice somewhere to have things, and I'm just not willing to sacrifice in life. But yeah, y'all, in the big grand scheme of things, I'm not concerned about Israel. God will take care of Israel. That's God's people, regardless. I've had people say, "Oh, them ain't them. You don't know what they've done," and it don't matter what they've done. They're God's people. I mean, it's been written through the Bible. If you don't think that's God's people, then you don't believe not nothing that's in the Bible. They turned from God time after time after time. I mean, even when He delivered them from Egypt, they turned to idol gods, and He wanted to kill them all at Mount Sinai. And Moses said, "If you're gonna kill them, you're gonna kill me too." I mean, Moses stood in the gap for them. God was ready to wipe that whole bunch of people out then, His own people. But as evil as they were, and then they was in Baal worship, worshiping the devil, sacrificing their own young'uns. I mean, they was doing some evil stuff then. And God, that still was His people. So, regardless of what they've done that may be godless and all that now, that's still His people, and He's going to take care. Bible prophecy is going to play out, and we're going to see it. And it's like I said, we here to ride, and you know, he just went and got him a helmet.
Mama bought it for me.
Mama bought you a helmet. Come here. Come right here. Come over here. Look at it.
Right off, so it won't stay on the
Look.
screen.
It's got a place for a light up there. You ain't got a light that goes up there? I bet we can put that GoPro camera up there.
A GoPro camera.
Well, our GoPro camera that we use, that little camera Daddy put on his chest, I bet we can mount that right up there on your hat.
Let's put it right there right now.
No, I'm busy right now.
Oh.
Red Stain, how are you? But anyway, y'all can kind of keep up with what's going on over there. There ain't nothing wrong with keeping up with it by any means. But don't let it dictate your life. You need to have your priorities straight already, because regardless of what's throughout the Bible, it's written in a way that if God decides He wants to come get us now, He can. And they won't be nothing that nobody can say, "Oh, but God, you can't come yet because this ain't happening." The Bible is written in a way that if He wants to come get us now, it's not against the rules. Okay? So, and then here's the next thing. There ain't none of us promised tomorrow, y'all. Sitting here watching Israel is a guideline for how long we got till the Lord comes back. Hey, brother, He can come get you now. I mean, you could slump over in your chair sitting here watching this. We ain't promised tomorrow. I mean, that's a fact. It don't matter how healthy you are, how good you take care of yourself. I mean, when He calls your number, you out of here. That's just all there is to it. Homestead Princess, wouldn't you know he could make some videos running around there? You'd probably be seasick now for me. We'd have to make sure we had a camera with good image stabilization.
Here, give me the tape. Mommy, tell me something. Don't give me that. Found a good place. Yeah, that's a good place.
Well, well, well. Y'all, I ain't won't eat no bugs either. I heard about them growing meat out of a lab and bugs, and I don't know what all. Who is it? Is it Bill Gates that's wanting to, one of them, buying up all kind of land? Let me tell y'all something else about food, okay? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on with food, and a lot of people worried about what's in this and what's in that. Y'all, there's no doubt that there's stuff in some of the foods that we buy that's causing our cancers and stuff. Let me stress, don't eat nothing that you don't sit down and pray over. And when I pray over whatever I'm eating, y'all go back to the book of Mark. It says, if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. These signs shall follow them that believe. All these things should happen. If you believe in God, and you believe on God, and you have believed it, which means if I believe something, I have done my dead level best to obey all of it. Obedience has a lot to do with believing. If I believe God is true and Jesus is right, I'm going to obey what he tells me, okay? So just believing alone is probably not the whole ticket. It's believing in obedience to it, to the whole book, to the whole word. But if I believe God, well, then I'm going to say a prayer over my food, and I'm not going to worry about what's in it. I'm not going to worry about, does this cause cancer? Does this cause... Because the Bible says he's not given us the spirit of fear. Now, I'm going to do my best to try to take care of me. I'm not going to eat nothing that I know is poison. You know, so if you hear like, hey, they putting poison in this, well, you know, I ain't going to eat it. But I'm not going to walk around deathly afraid of what's in this and what's in that and what's in this. Now, I ain't telling you not to be. You got to make your own choice to live your own life. But I'm not. I'm not going to live in fear. I'm not going to live in fear of diseases floating around in the air. I'm not going to live in fear of what they're putting in my food. I'm not going to live in fear at all. I don't live in fear of having an accident. I don't live in fear of this kind of junk, y'all. I don't. I'm not making this up. I do not live in fear. I live in peace. I trust God to guide me and protect me and send angels to walk me every day. And he's going to protect the food I eat. He's going to protect the world revolving around me from accidents. I don't live wearing bubble wrap for safety equipment for everything I do. And it's because I trust him. And if it's my time to go, it don't matter what I'm doing, he's going to take me out of here. And I'm not going to try to stop it. I want to go when he calls my number. I'm ready to see him. I ain't just wanting to die. But I'm not going to prolong life on this miserable earth. I mean, y'all get the concept. I don't want to eat bug meat. I'm not going to eat a possum if I don't. I ain't going to say I ain't going to eat a possum. I don't want to eat a possum. But now times get hard, I probably don't want to eat no bug meat either. But I'll be honest with y'all, I don't go around looking to see what they do in the food because I'd rather just not know. When I go to McDonald's and order one of them double quarter pounders with cheese, I just hope it's meat. I don't know that it is. You follow what I'm telling you here, Han? I just hope it's meat. And I don't try to look and do a bunch of research on Google to find out that it ain't maybe meat. You know, I seen them chicken nuggets laid on top of that refrigerator for a few years and they didn't mold or nothing. I seen that. But You know, when I order some chicken nuggets and I eat them, I try to, I pretend like it really is chicken. Oh, Lord. But y'all, I'm gonna be honest with you. We're gonna see some hard times, and you're gonna have to make your own choices. I mean, I can't make them for you. Don't intend to. But it could get tough. It really could. I got these June bugs flying around lighting on me, and
Go.
Shannon Herb. No, we not. We out here under the back porch. We have done cooked fish tacos. Sitting here trying to cipher the Bible out and figure out what's what in Revelations. But we about got it squared away. The main parts that I worry about in that Bible really ain't in Revelations. My main parts is Paul's writings. He give us a lot of instructions that I'm trying to get ciphered out and make sure I get squared away. Yeah, Michigan Prepper, I am set up to where I can do most things without electricity. Didn't say it was gonna be easy, and that's why I don't choose to live off grid now. Uh, because even with a grid, when the grid goes down, we're gonna lose so much. We're gonna lose more than just electricity. You're gonna lose all your fuel for generators. You're gonna lose all your currency. You're not gonna be able to buy nothing because you can't buy anything right now without electricity on at a store. I mean, that's just a fact. So buying anything is over with when the grid goes down. Um, and if it goes down over a month, it'll reset us. We'll never recuperate from a month of no power. There'll be so many people die within that month. They'll kill us. They'll start killing each other. And most of them will be because they can't buy drugs or stuff like that. I remember when Katrina hit, y'all. One of the saddest things that I remember about Hurricane Katrina is there was a man down there in New Orleans killed his sister over a bag of ice. Do y'all hear me? A man killed his sister over a bag of ice. And that's what we will see. And we it's gonna be good to have solar power. It's gonna be good, but if we can power and charge devices like cell phones, are they gonna work? I mean, really, I don't think any of that mess is gonna work. And it'll be convenient to be able to do some stuff around here, to keep some refrigeration going. Um, Learning how to preserve stuff is gonna be one of the big setbacks. I try to have plenty jars, but I mean, even with jars, there's a lot of times the flats and the lids, we steadily replacing them. And I mean, you need a supply of those, and I have bought some that I'll be honest with you, I wasn't happy with. They didn't seal right. So if there's a way to reuse them, like to redo that rubber gasket on them, I'm sure there is. Probably wax would be but I don't know how well the wax will seal. So I have thought about making some clay pots that could be somewhat sealed, but I don't know. I don't know if I could do it or not. Yeah, Jeff, I'm gonna be honest with you. That coffee maker gonna be a doozy. But I got my percolator pot out here. I'll figure out how to make coffee. I can do the cowboy coffee. We can make coffee in a boiler out here. But I mean, I use a lot of propane out here. But now I can go to wood fired everything. My biggest thing I preach is hand tools. How many hand tools do you have? Because you're gonna have to fix stuff. You're gonna steadily be working on repairing stuff. And I'm gonna be honest with you, planting a crop ain't gonna be no easy chore. I mean, it's just not. Yeah, and I preach paperback books. I have got all of my medicinal herb stuff in paperback books. I have got all kind of stuff, literature. I've got a lot of stuff in paperback books, and I just like a physical book. Nothing wrong with ebooks, but I mean, if we lose all this knowledge, the knowledge stuff is what I'm gonna want the most. And I've got all the Foxfire books. I mean, stuff like that is gonna be important. Oh, I done lost my chat here. But the biggest thing is we're gonna have to have a coming together. Uh, the biggest key to survival is gonna be community. I see a lot of people that's like, I'm gonna be an island unto myself, and I'm gonna shoot everybody that comes around. People's gonna be looting and stealing. If you can build a big enough community that is working together of people you trust, of people that's got each other's back, we talking about all your fishing buddies, all you people that live around you, that family. It's gonna take a bunch of people to keep a garden going. To keep, I mean, you see what I'm saying? Some neighbors gonna have a bunch of cows. These communities are gonna have to knit back together down to like they was 75 to 100 years ago. And that's gonna be one of the key factors right there. When hard times hit, how good of a community are you around? You need to be living close to people that you like, that you trust, that you know. There's no way I'd want to be where I didn't know my neighbor. There is no way. I mean, that's like me. I can get on my buggy. Me and Brody can cross 2 or 3 pastures right here of neighbors' properties that we know get along well. We respect them. They respect us. We help each other. And that's going to be a key. That's going to be one of your best things for survival. Yeah, you probably gonna have to defend some stuff at some point, but I'm not planning on starting a war. And if I can help, I'm gonna help as many people as I can help. That is my first goal, my first thought. How many people can I help? And I can't help everybody. I mean, but I'm not gonna be turning people away. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take a lot of work, but I hope we don't never see it that way. I'm not saying, my wife said one time, she said, I think you just look forward to the end of the world. So no, I don't, but I don't want to be caught by surprise either. Yep, I've got the Wilderness Book by Kephart. I have got, oh Lord, what's the other guy? It's like Kephart, and then this Nesmith. I got Nesmith's all of his books, and no, Jeff, they won't be a rabbit. They won't be no deer for sure. The wild pigs is gonna be the thing that we're gonna wish we'd have not got rid of. Them wild pigs are gonna be a blessing in disguise. We're gonna be wishing that we had them all over our properties, because I mean, you can go hunt them, and they kind of hardy. They populate fast. Deer be gone in no time. I don't have any solar panels myself yet. What kind did you get, Jeff? Did you order them from a company, or did you get on Amazon? I have thought about making my camper solar powered to start with. That way I could at least be mobile, and it be practical for camping and whatever else, and me get my feet wet in it. Because my problem is I can't do a solar powered house, because my business runs them electric keels, And all that pottery is cooked electric, and there's no way I could run enough power to run them. I don't think right now. I mean, they will do it, but you talking about having to sink a bunch of money into it to do all of that. Yeah, Amanda, that real fire is the key. That's one of the reasons I'm building this fire pit out here. I'm gonna get a real fireplace built. I mean, this contraption that y'all see over here, this tin box, my smoke machine, as one fella called it. Um, that is just temporary to get the smoke, most of the smoke up above this roof line because it was just clouding up all under here bad. It ain't near about bad as it used to be. It smokes under here. It don't draft like a, but it's because it's not airtight. But what I'm saying is, I'm gonna have a real fireplace built here, and it's gonna be built with a crane and all that in there to cook over fire. And that is the whole purpose of me wanting one. So yeah, I agree. And that smoker over there, I can cook a lot of stuff on it. The way it's set up, I can build a fire in that box, and the top of that box, I can cook on that box with a skillet. Set it up there and cook. So there's a lot that can be done with fire, just in grills and stuff you got, without having to get out here and build a campfire in the yard. But now I've got the rocket stove. I would encourage everybody to have a rocket stove. It may not be something you cook on all the time, but I mean, in a worst case scenario, you can do a lot of cooking over that thing as far as heating a skillet up to fry eggs or boil water or whatever with a handful of wood. I mean, a rocket stove is money. Have a rocket stove. It ain't something I want to sit there and fool because you got to sit there and feed it pretty regular. I mean, you can't just put wood in it, walk off like a smoker, and let it cook and do whatever you're doing. You got to sit there and kind of feed it. But a rocket stove is going to be, as far as cooking with wood, is almost going to be a necessity. Lord, have you eat any kudzu? I have been going to do it and going to do it. There's so much of that plant that you can eat. Soul Perk brand. Did you order that, Jeff, from that company? 10 kilowatt system. Maiden, if the grid goes down, it will depend on what has happened to it. It won't be down indefinitely because there's a lot that's going. I mean, there's too many people in power. There's no way to know, and really, it going down is not like, hey, it's a guaranteed thing. My biggest fear is not the grid going down. It really ain't. My biggest fear is it could get so expensive that we couldn't afford it. Is what's most likely gonna happen. I don't see us with the technology that we have in place unless like there's large scale war all over everywhere. Most of the war that's gonna happen is gonna be overseas. We will most likely be attacked some for here out of hate, like terrorist attacks that we'll have to endure. But as far as us trying to be overtaken, most of the war, Bible prophecy war, is going to happen overseas in the Middle East around Israel. People hate Israel. They want to kill Israel. That's the Bible prophecy. So us just being without power indefinitely, it's not real practical. But there's too much technology. They would have to really go through and destroy a lot of power lines. And with that, I mean, how much power line can they destroy? that had to be. I don't think you could wipe the whole nation out at one time. So your power being out will have a lot to do with where you at. The next thing is you got a lot of natural stuff happening. The Bible, as Bible prophecy happens, there's going to be weather. He said there'll be signs in the heavens and in the earth. That's going to be weather stuff happening. There's going to be floods, wars, rumors of war. I mean, there's a lot of natural disasters. It's part of the Bible prophecy. Those are going to be key things you've got to deal with. But just to say that, hey, the whole world's going to be without power for a certain amount, I don't really think that's going to be my biggest fear is stuff getting so astronomically expensive that the average person can't afford it. You're going to have elite wealthy people and you're going to have poor people. There ain't going to be a middle class at some point in this. I mean, because the Bible says you'll throw the money in the streets. Money's not going to be worth anything. Everything's going to go to a digital currency. When they get it all the way to digital currency, then they'll employ the mark of the beast. When the one world government takes over, there'll be a one world currency. And when that happens and the one world leader becomes in power, then that will be the mark of the beast will be set up for that then. Now, whether the first one world leader is the beast, I don't know. I mean, he could be the Antichrist. It may be on down the line before that happens. I don't know. I don't totally understand it, but I just know the events. That's the way it's going to happen. So when it goes to one world currency, we know that when the mark of the beast happens, if we're still here then, well, then we're not going to be able to buy or sell regardless. So that's going to be the biggest problem. Being able to buy stuff. We could probably have power up until then. But I think our biggest fear is not being able to purchase things, not being able to just being dirt poor before it's over with. I'll have to check into them, Jeff. I have seen 100-watt panels on there, and I had thought about getting 200-watt panels and put on my camper and a system to go with that and setting that camper up. That way, I mean, if I did go without power, I could go out there and do some basic, charge a phone, this, that, and the other with solar. But depending on what happens there again, or whether I need it or not. Amanda, I finally cooked my elderberry this week. I should have filmed it, but as I moved this refrigerator out here, we was going through freezers and moving stuff around, and I'm trying to get stuff out of freezers that have been in there too long, and I found all my elderberries, and then Brody got sick the other night he got bad sick, was throwing up, and had strep throat. Well, he was sick for a day or two, and then he was fine. Well, actually, he was sick the one night. We kept him home from church Sunday, but he was fine Saturday and Sunday. We got that refrigerator moved out here, and I cooked all that elderberry down and made it. I made my elderberry syrup, put it in the refrigerator. So I guess that was this past week. That was last weekend, wasn't it? One of them anyway. So I wound up with 3 jars. I put some garlic in mine, and I didn't add my honey. I had goldenrod honey the last time, and I had a little bit of honey in there, and I didn't want to waste it putting it in there, so I put a little bit of sugar just to sweeten it up, but I didn't put much. Sugar ain't really healthy for you for stuff, so. Jeff, how many batteries did you wind up putting on yours right now? That is the part I struggle with solar power. Is you gonna have to have so many batteries, and as many batteries as I'm buying right now for keeping trucks, batteries don't last near like they're supposed to. Like used to, batteries would last several years. Now, if I get 2 years out of a good battery, I feel like I've done well. And so going and just buying some batteries somewhere like at the where you buy your truck batteries. My deep cycle marine battery, I think that I bought for my boat this year was like $130 something. It was cheaper than my truck battery. So, but I don't know how many. Richard, the thing that I'm concerned about with my Blackstone and stuff, and I'm fixing to build a outdoor cooker, a 2 burner like a camp shelf, and then I'm gonna have a drop down to cook like crawfish and stuff like that. Hopefully next year crawfish ain't so god awful expensive. But anyway, might want to boil peanuts, stews. I cook a lot of stews. Um, but butane, being able to buy butane for that stuff, that could be I mean, I'm most likely I'm gonna fill my. We don't run a lot of butane in the house anymore, but I've got a tank sitting here, 250 gallon tank, and I'm gonna have it filled up, and I'm gonna tie a line in off over there that I can hook to my cookers. I may have a long hose that I just drag over here and hook to them, and I may run a hard line out over here to some of them. I'm going to see when I start building this. My whole goal was to put all of my cookers on a hard line to that main big tank out there. So we'll see. I still may do that. And I could cook on that 250 gallons for a while if I didn't use it to heat the house. I'm heating my house with wood. I could cook for a long time with 250 gallons of gas. I think. I don't know. Whew. Starting with 12 batteries. You invested, my brother. I ain't even got to ask what kind you bought, but I know that set you back. Which it's an investment. Ain't nothing gonna be cheap. It don't matter which route you go. So y'all, I am trying to keep up with all the conversations going on. And I get stopped and get to. Yeah, L Square, I agree. Get them all filled up right now while you can. The wind is starting to howl. It blows a little and then it'll quit and get calm and then it'll start blowing hard again. There is which Jeff, you're over in Alabama, or if I'm not remembering, but I have seen some stuff where Mississippi offers some kind of a program to convert to solar, like you get some grants or something. Did you check into any of that from like Alabama, or you may be in Mississippi? I know you're down on the Gulf somewhere down that way, but I don't know what all states are offering some stuff like that, and I don't even know that Mississippi is, but I have seen some stuff on that. Is the government doing any grants for solar power? I mean, because if you could get a grant to start converting stuff over to solar, that would be a huge help if it is truly a grant. But now, in my opinion, there's very little that you ever get from the government that is actually free. It's occasional, but usually it costs you somewhere down the road. Yeah, Keith, I rent my tank. I wish I owned it. But the problem with owning a tank, I'm going to tell you this, it's hard to find somebody to fill your tank. If you renting from them, they'll fill it no questions. You can get gas put in it. But if you buy your own tank where you ain't got to pay rent on it, and I'm paying like 70 something dollars a year rent on this tank, 250-gallon tank. Or well, I think it's 80 now. I may have had to pay a late fee. We just paid it this week. They've been calling us. I forgot about it because we didn't fill it up last year. We burned wood. We didn't use no gas heat at all. Um, I got you, Jeff. Did you check on a grant or anything? Gavin, how you doing, bud? If I could get a grant, I would probably what I would do is convert my shed. I have got a separate meter for it down there. I would convert my pottery shop over to solar completely. I could handle that, and and then my keels are up here running on this other meter at the house. But I don't know how they working their stuff. Larry, I have been more inclined to building me a windmill for a small amount of power, and I've got an alternator, and I was gonna rig it up to a battery. I mean, because the wind, it's got where the wind blows constantly here, and if you could build like the caps that spins this way, and then you got a gear at the bottom, you could hook up a alternator for a vehicle pretty easily and it sat there and run charge, you'd have to gear it to where it spins it at the right. But you could charge some batteries fairly simply with that. Are you gonna run a house with it? No, not most likely, but anyway, y'all, we have done got way off down in here preparing for hard times. Diamond Rio sung that song and said Daddy was a sidewalk soapbox preacher looking forward to the end of the world. That's what we doing right here. I'll be honest with you, I ain't just real concerned about the cooking and stuff. I can do a lot of cooking over wood. That's why I got a lot of cast iron. Um, I got a cast iron wash pot. I mean, I stuff like that. I like the old school ways anyway. And I'm trying to, as I build this thing, we're gonna do some wood fired cooking. Um, I've got a crane. I'm gonna mount in this fire pit, but it's something I don't know a lot about. And when you start doing videos on stuff, people just automatically assume, well, you know everything about it. You're doing a video on it, and a lot of times that ain't necessarily the case. A lot of it is, just sharing the journey of learning along the way. So let me grab something right here. I've been sitting there looking at my lemons and my limes that I squeezed out a while ago, and I said the bugs is gonna beat me to them. I like to eat this stuff. A lot of times, y'all, when I'm cooking with lemon, I got one of them small graters in the kitchen. I didn't have it out here and was live. I wasn't running in and out getting stuff. But I'll grate the zest off the side of that skin and use it in my cooking. Jeff, I'm more worried about my freezer than anything. If I can run my freezer, That's what I'm concerned about. Well, I can come out here and make coffee on, but I'll be honest with you. Building a fire every time you get ready to cook something or warm up, make coffee or whatever is gonna get old fast. Especially when it's sopping wet outside. I mean, just think about it now. It ain't about can you do it. It's about it's gonna get old. I mean, I'm gonna get sick of doing it. Cause I build a fire pretty regular during the winter down there in my shed. That like it goes out. We up here at the house. We may keep this in the house going if it's cold weather. But when I get back down there, I've usually got to start over. I may have a bed of coals in there, but I mean, I still got to blow it back to life. And I mean, we didn't keep it going all night. And it gets old. I mean, you just get sick of it. That's what's going to be the mental part of all of this, y'all, is what's going to be the challenge. As far as me figuring out how to cook and figuring out how to get food and what to eat, that really ain't that hard with some knowledge. The mental preparedness of every day. And on top of that, watching people you love get sick and weak and die. We're going to lose some people, y'all. We going to lose some people. If things get that hard, you going to bury some people you really like. And that ain't going to be easy. That's the stuff. Are you prepared for that? And that is when you're going to hit your knees and say, God, I ain't been everything I need to be, but I need some help. I need some help. Roscoe, you don't want no lime. Jeff, I want to build a root cellar myself. Right out here where I built I'm building a raised bed and logs, or that terrace comes all the way up here. And I've got a pine tree that I'm cutting down. I am threatening bringing a mini excavator up here and digging out into that bank this way and building me a root cellar that it won't completely be buried, but it'll be mostly in the ground. And I'll go down the hill and come back into it. I think that is going to be and I've got a storm shelter, but it's way over yonder at the shop. And we don't never use it. It's just buried in the ground, but it was in good shape. I hate to dig that thing up and move it. I could do it, but it wouldn't be easy. Mike Reeves, know this river. There's been a lot of times I've been over there running my limb hooks and literally be floating upstream. Because you right above. Now, it may have some current to it, but not like you can sit there and watch it flow. I have thrown jugs in it, watch them drift upstream. It'd take them half a night to come float by the campground. Amanda, I'm with you. The first bunch that leaves out of here, I'm gone. I ain't hanging around with y'all. I have always heard that if you missed the rapture, that you still had a chance to be saved, but you was gonna have to endure all the other stuff. And the secret to that is you're gonna endure it without the Spirit of God. They say once the rapture's over, you're not gonna feel the Spirit like we feel it now, you know. And I mean, if you can't live for the Lord now, how you gonna live for it without the Spirit? I don't know. I don't want to be around for all that. I want to leave with the first bunch out. I'll leave y'all all my stuff. When I'm gone, you can have everything I got. I don't need it no more. You're welcome to it, place and all. Well, that lemon was good. Mike, up here we do a lot of, I do them long lines. I tie them to the bank, and then I come out, I don't know, sometimes 40, 50 foot before I put my first hook, put a weight, pull it down to the bottom, and I tie a water bottle on it to hold it up off the bottom. My weight will be on like a 3 or 4 foot line with a weight, where the line will be picked up 3 or 4 foot off the bottom. 25 hooks, they 6 foot apart. And then at the last hook, I'll run 50 foot of rope out to a big heavy weight. And it's like a 50-pound weight, and I drop it down there. And then we pull all that back and forth every time. And with that, we usually catch some pretty good catfish. I don't always load up, but every time we run a line, we'll have 3 or 4, sometimes on a good day, 5 or 6 on one line. You can run them 2 or 3 times and load a boat up with catfish. Now, I got a buddy that goes further down to Cochran and fish, and they catch a lot of flatheads down there. I hadn't found the flatheads up here around Pickensville. I know there's some up there somewhere. Mike Reeves, I'll do that. I don't know. I've got to get an order worked on. With Tommy Litchfield, we just doggone near give slam up on you tonight. Just decided you didn't love us no more. We said, well, Tommy don't love us. He ain't here. We, VA Woodsman, we buy all our clay in bulk. We have a ceramic supply store in this state. It's several towns up that we go to, and we buy it in bulk from them. Google ceramic supplies around you, and a box of clay ain't but about $25 or $30 at the most for like 50 pounds. And you can make a lot of stuff. That's by far, if you want to learn to fool with pottery, do that first. And where you can have something good to work with. You can make raw clay, you can dig and process, and I may do a video on it at some point. I don't do much of it. I don't use it for our pottery that we sell, but the knowledge, you need to know how to do that stuff. So yeah, I can do it. I just don't do it. And I hadn't done a whole lot of it. Tommy, yeah. Tommy said he sensed a disturbance in the force. Your presence was missed. We've been solving end of the world problems, Tommy, so you'll have to go back and get caught up. We done went to off-grid and solar power and done figured out when Israel's going to war, and I don't know what all we solved him, but we know things is going downhill and they going at a fast rate. That snowball that Merle Haggard sang about, we watching it gain speed right now. Mike Reeves, look on any of my new videos in the description box. There is an Etsy store. There's a Spirit of the Outdoors Etsy store, and that is where all my merchandise is right now. I ain't smart enough to figure out how to get it into YouTube. You know, like Celebrating Appalachia's got their stuff all across there. I ain't figured out how to do all of that yet. I'm gonna have to get up with Corey and get her to tell me how she has done all of that. It might be a better deal. I don't know. Because people don't seem to find my stuff. But there's links in my videos in the descriptions to Etsy store, to my Amazon store. And all the Amazon store is, I realized some folks got confused a couple weeks ago on what that was. Those are just links that you can go through to buy stuff that I use. It is to help you find stuff. And if you buy it through that link, I get a very, very small percentage. I mean, it probably ain't enough to make 10 cents worth of difference. I think my biggest payment off of a month of them links was $20-something. And that was on a good month. Like most time it's like $4 or $5. But, I don't push stuff. I don't do a whole lot of product review stuff. A lot of the product review stuff that I do is somebody will send me something and I'll do a video on it for a free product, and I only will take stuff that, hey, I think I would use that. I had them trying to get me to do a game camera here the other day, and I was going to have to pay for the subscription to it, but they was going to send me a game camera, and I don't even like game cameras. I really don't. It was one of them cell phones, sends the pictures to your cell phone. I ain't interested in fooling with that. You know what I mean? So I take products that, hey, I like that product. I would buy that. I'll do a video on it. Those hatchets, the Beavercraft hatchets, let me get it right here. Of all the stuff that I have got, and I hadn't done a whole lot of videos of this thing because I really ain't got to do no whole lot of camping. But I use this thing building fires out here. This is a sharp little hatchet. It's small. And Mike Reed had one. He'd done it and gave it away. That thing is still razor sharp. It holds an edge. And they are fixing to send me a full-size axe. And I'm going to do a video on it. And then I'm going to use the axe to go cut down some wood and use this. And we're going to make a hand-carved spoon. At some point, I'm going to forge a spoon knife. But I like this little, I did a video on this. And those shoes I did. I take products that, hey, I would buy that and try that anyway. I'll do a video on it. I don't do a lot of video stuff reviews, so the Amazon link is there to really help you find stuff that I have used that, hey, this is a good product. It's worth buying if you're going to buy it. I mean, don't go buy it if you don't need it. You know what I'm saying? But it's not about me trying to get you to buy products. It's more about people curious, well, I'm thinking about buying this product. Is it fit to have? And that's what videos are. Yeah, man, I don't do politics. I steer way away from politics. I'll tell you about my take on politics. Let me tell y'all what. Let me tell you who to vote for. Whoever you want to. Because it ain't going to make one bit of difference. I don't like none of them. They ain't near one of them up there that I'd give you a plug nickel for. You hear me? If they'd all up there in Washington leave me alone, I'd be happy. I don't like none of them. Ain't not one of them. And I sure ain't fixing to sit here and say, I'm this or I'm that. I don't side with none of them folks up there. I ain't neither one. I ain't red or blue. I'm country. That's what I am. I'm purple. See, I'm purple. See, told you, I'm purple. I don't do politics. I don't even like politicians. Every one of them crooked as a snake. And these folks arguing over it, getting fighting mad, arguing over somebody that I wouldn't defend them for nothing in this world. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. What did I miss out on Walmart? Self-inflicted torture at Walmart, yeah. Yeah, you done that to yourself, Tommy. I go in there and get anxiety and get what you need. I tell y'all what you do. Take Brody to Walmart, will you? You gon' go to the toy section and you gon' spend $20-something. It don't matter what. And pile it in there with that rubbish heap he's got in his floor in his room that he can't walk. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. Huckleberry, how are you? Jeff, I collect rainwater, but not drinking water. What they call it, potable water. I collect all. I've got a rain barrel on either side of my shed down there, and then I've got the gutter system I built with a big 250-gallon tank, and all that is so I can water chickens and plants. I use rainwater. I don't keep clean water for chickens. That's a no-no. Don't if you keep clean water for chickens, they'll stay sick. And these people that argue with me about that, but most everybody's got it figured out by now. But I do catch water. I catch a lot of water here. I don't keep any of mine clean enough to drink. However, it wouldn't be hard for me to get mine to stay potable. I'll tell you what I'd do. If I was going to drink my water, I'd pour some bleach in it alone. Probably. I don't know if that's the safest thing to do, but that's the cheapest. Cause you can take a barrel of water that's green as a gourd, and you can pour about a cup of bleach in a 55-gallon barrel, and in about 2 or 3 hours, you can see the bottom. I've done it. I know. But now my deal with water is we've got good water here on our county water system. We're fortunate we have good water here, so I don't. Jeff, I'm fixing to add a bed to the back of my house right up here in the near future, and the water off my air conditioner, I put the pan up there the other day to catch the water on the top of the refrigerator because I don't need it running down the back and into that electrical box and all. And I'm going to run it down, and my air conditioner water is going to water some tomatoes right up here this year. Yeah, that's my plan anyway. It may not have, I got too many projects already. Somebody asked what I was going to do in the garden tomorrow. I don't know yet. I have got some stuff. I tried to plant some stuff before this full moon, and then I'm probably going to wait till over in May before I put peas. I've got a bunch of wheat and some oats. It's got to be harvested back here for my straw around my tomatoes. I want to do some tilling. I got a tiller that's got to be worked on. But I want to get my other log drug up here. I got to burn it and get it up here and then add some more dirt into this raised bed. I want to finish it because I got 4 or 5 tomatoes up there that needs to go in here. So I've got some odd and end stuff I'm going to do. But if I don't really know, I've got, every time I turn around, I got more projects than I can get done. I said this year I wasn't going to start no projects. I was going to fish. And now I done got 40-something tomato plants down there in the garden growing. Jeff, if you can get your water caught raised up to create some pressure, you can they have those electric timer valves that will open and close, and the water pressure just runs the water. Mike Reed did a video where he's got a bucket suspended and a pipe running out of it down through his garden with holes drilled in it. And he just goes over there and cuts a valve on, and the water goes all the way down through his bed and waters everything. And then he just cuts it off. That's probably the easiest thing to do. So if you've got, depending on how much water you got, mine, I raised it up it's up on center blocks just to get it high enough that I could hook a water hose to it and go down and have a little bit of pressure to get it down to where I need it to water my beds and stuff. But now when I'm going to run sprinklers, I have to hook it to the water hose. So I ain't got all the answers. I got ideas, but I don't know about. My timing, though, has to do with my landscaping days when I was working at Wofford's. We fool with a lot of sprinkler systems in, and that's how we time them. But now, all those greenhouse stuff on yard, I went by with a ball valve, turned it on, and the whole sprinkler house come on. They was on a series, and it was just on city water then. And I hand drilled a well, Jeff. Did we lose Larry? Missed that. He's gone to bed. I did a video on my well. I hand drilled it. I drilled a 4-inch pipe and I went like 18 foot down. I could add on to it and go further. I took a water hose and run it down on the inside, and I tried several different ways to pressure that thing up. And the best way is to get you one of those water balloons that screws on the end of the water hose. You can order them on Amazon for like $10. And it swells up against and then jets water straight forward down. I dropped that thing all the way down in there, and then I clamped my thing on that pipe, went to twisting it, and it worked like a charm. But I put 4-inch in there, and it took me like 3 days on and off. I didn't just constantly do it. They was probably, I guarantee you, they was 8 to 12 hours of constant drilling. It could have probably been done in a day, but you'd have worked yourself to death. I had a man told me that they put 1.5-inch pipe in the ground in Missouri, and they welded a flat pointed bit on there, and they used 10 foot of steel pipe, and then they clamped, screwed in, threaded in PVC pipe, and he said in about 2 hours they run, I don't know, 50, 60 foot in the ground. So the smaller diameter will go faster, but yeah, they hook water. You hook water to the top of your pipe and start pushing it in the ground, twisting it, and it'll jet itself in the ground. What you need, Brody?
We are having a rat killing.
When I get through the live.
When are you going to do your live?
About 10 o'clock.
No, just do it in a minute.
He wants to have a rat killing. Jeff, I've got 4 inches of pipe, and it's 17 foot, and it don't provide. It has a lot to do with where your water table is. Here, our water table is really high. Here, we're close to this swamp, and it's so far it's been good water. It ain't it has a, I don't know, Brody, shut that door. You letting bugs in the house, bud. It has a little bit of cloudy to it, and it's probably due to my way of getting it. I don't really know. The water seemed really clean at one time. Um, you and I'd done it just so I'd have a place to, like, if we didn't have water, I could go make coffee. I could, have some water to drink. As far as me trying to water a garden with it, I don't think I could. But now, the people that I talked to that was doing an inch and a half well, I think that was an inch and a half, may have been 2 inch pipe. I think they said an inch and a half. They went 60 something foot to 100 foot, and they said it was not hard to drill that. And I think he said they welded some kind of a hay mower bit. It's like 2 or 3 inches long, and they welded it in the end of that steel pipe, and they used like a 10-foot section of steel pipe. When they got it in the ground, they started threading in PVC, and it went pretty fast. And I think they were using it to water cows up there, where off in remote places that they didn't have, and they were putting a hand pump on it. So I don't know. I don't get a lot of water off of mine. I don't use mine much though. Now it's there for an emergency. I don't use it a whole lot. I built a well bucket to drop down in mine, but now it probably needs to be a whole lot deeper. Perry Simmons is getting bad up there in Arkansas. Mike Reeves, I'm going to blow your mind. To me, it reminds me a lot of Mahi Mahi. I told somebody that, and they was like, what? It's good, but now it has to be, if you're going to eat grinnell, which bowfin, we call it grinnell here, you got to keep it alive till you get home and ready to cook. You can't put it in the refrigerator. You can't put it in water. You can rinse it off, provided the grease is already hot and you ready to meal it and put it in the water. It'll tolerate being rinsed off. But now if you rinse it off and lay it down and you an hour and a half from cooking, it'll be mush by the time you get ready to cook. Basically, when the fish dies, the meat enzymes start breaking down. Adding water to those enzymes speeds their process up. They say gar is the same way. I don't know. The boys in Louisiana tell me about gar. I've never eaten a gar. I plan on eating one this year. But I've never eaten flounder. But it's firmer meat. Some people say it's chewy. I've never found it to be chewy. I take a fillet and I cut it down the middle, and then I cut across ways of it and make little nuggets. And I meal it and fry them nuggets. There ain't no bones in it, not nowhere. And it's by far the best eating fish there is. I have made tacos like I made tonight out of it, and it's delicious. But now that is after I have well had my fill of eating them fried for a while. Richard T, I am so wanting to get in that swamp, but right now we ain't even had no rain this week, and all of a sudden it started rising and rose back to 12 foot. I need it below 10 foot for me to get in the swamp and be able to do anything, mainly to get through the low water crossings to get in there. And literally, I have took up lake fishing because in this springtime of the year, you cannot get in that swamp and do nothing. Now, over in the midsummer, into the fall, it'll dry up this fall. You can't get around in a canoe because you get about 2 or 3 good weeks of good water. And But yeah, I hadn't even nearby attempted to start my bowfin fishing. When grinnell fishing hits, it's on like bing bong. Then that's all I'll do. I love it. So yeah, we gonna get in there and get on them. Homestead Princess, have you attempted to put vinegar on there? Somebody said you could put the vinegar in some water and drop it in for a second and it would firm it up. I don't know, but they say putting vinegar on it will firm the meat up. I don't know. I ain't never had a problem with it like it is, but I I have heard that and I've never tried it. I have put mine, Princess, I have cooked it on the Blackstone. I have put it on the grill. I got a video of me cooking it in one side of the scales on a fire down there, and it was good that way. You just got to put seasoning on top. But I took my knife and cut a fillet off, scales and all, and I laid the scales down in the fire. It's a old video, about 2 or 3 years ago. I was down the swamp in the fall. I was squirrel hunting, and I caught one down there crappie fishing and cooked it. The fall is my favorite time to do some fishing down there, really and truly. Usually the water's right then. But it's good on the Blackstone. I've got videos on the back Blackstone cooking griddle. Jim Reynolds, I'd never fished in saltwater neither till last year, and Davis Hayes took me down there, and we got in the kayaks and we did a video fishing. That's the first time I have ever fished saltwater in my life, and the only time. I have not fished it since. I need to get back down there and do some saltwater fishing. Amanda, get your electric fillet knife and right out. It ain't nothing to it. You don't need a man to fillet a fish. It ain't nothing to it. Keep him alive. And what I do is I snip them gills in there in the front. You may want to I dispatch the fish because one thing I done got to where I hate to clean something alive and it flopping, but the biggest thing I hate to clean something and it flopping. Um, Take the fish, take a fillet knife, go in right behind the gills and all the way down, flip it over, and fillet it out, and then I take and cut the ribs off. Once I cut the ribs off, I pat it down with a paper towel and then cut it up. It ain't nothing to it. Filleting is fairly easy, really. You'll mess one or two up when you first start doing it. We all did. So if you take a fillet knife and you mutilate a fish and you can't, save the scraps and cook them and eat them, it'll be all right. But you'll figure it out. It'll take you a time or two. Lord help. You attempted to boil one? I've never heard of such. Homestead Princess, what possessed you to attempt to boil it? Where'd this idea hatch at? Please tell me that. I want to know where you hatched this idea to boil. My buddy Tony Parker up here in North Mississippi takes his fish guts, scales, skins, everything. When he gets through cleaning fish, we got a gut bucket, everything goes in. He runs water in it, sets it in his garden, pours that around his tomatoes. Yeah. I got one sitting down there now. I ain't putting no water in it, but the flies is hanging to it real good right now. It's gonna have to get away from my shed. Jeff, I agree with you. Yesterday, me and Brody caught them bass, and I decided I was going to cook them. He wanted to bring bass home and eat them. And I put 2 or 3 froze bottles, water bottles in there, or actually they was milk or jugs in there on them and left them last night, and then we cleaned them this morning, and they a lot easier to fillet. I will say this though, if you're planning on scaling a fish, don't do that. They are way harder to scale. If you're gonna scale it, scale him right then. Cause that one brim, I decided I was gonna scale him. I got him scaled, but you talking about work? Them scales was hung to him good on, especially on that one side that was up. Lord, Lord, Lord. David, I needed to do my video on making a river cane fishing pole. I hung up some big grinnell poles last year, and I ain't never made the pole out of them. In fact, one of them, a storm blowed it out of the tree the other day, and I laid it up in the rafters of the shed. I need to get it out and make me a grinnell pole. And when I say a grinnell pole, that means it's probably 14 to 16 foot long, nearly. I'd tie that much 30-pound test line on there and put you a cork and a minnow out there, and man, you can bow that thing up on a grinnell. Your granddad used to boil them and make some sort of meal out of them. I don't know if it was patties or something. I'll tell you where that derived from, Homestead Princess. There's a lot of people that make garballs, and they say garballs is good. I don't know about boiling it. They grind it up in a grinder, the gar, with their other ingredients, and make a patty or a ball and deep fry it. And the deal with bowfin is if it's old and it starts getting mushy, I don't know where the boiling it would have come in, but that's where the making these patties or stuff comes from. Is when the meat's done got too mushy to make a piece of meat out of, they'd pack it all together and fry it. But now I don't know about boiling. I don't know where the boiling it would have come in. I do know they used to do some poaching, and my phone's telling me it's wanting to die. The poaching the fish is where they take. I seen what I saw in a recipe. They took boiling water and poured it over the fish, or either they got boiling water and maybe dropped the fish in it for like a minute or two and pulled it out. It didn't take but just a little bit. I don't know. I had never attempted it. Reason I seen that, I was reading a wild game recipe book the other night on fish, reading through it, and I use a recipe book more for ideas than I do like actual recipes. If they using a certain ingredient, I ain't never thought about cooking with this. I'll try that and this or that. I don't know. What about canning fish? Has anybody ever pressure canned fish? Because that's gonna be real similar to boiling it. I mean, what you come up with is gonna be similar. And the only way I have ever heard of preserving bowfin is to flash freeze it. Somebody left a comment from Louisiana that said down there they will cut it up like they're finna fry it, mill it, everything, ready to drop in the grease, and then spread it out on a cookie sheet and set it in the freezer. And they say it'll freeze that way, and then they can rake the nuggets off into a bag, and it'll preserve that way. But I don't know about canning it. I've never canned any fish. I have thought about attempting to fire my big outside smokehouse up and smoke some fish. And as we get into this, like the other day, my dad took all those other fish. I give them to him that I had in the freezer or in the refrigerator. I had threatened if I couldn't do something with them, I wouldn't go and freeze them because I already had some bags of fish. I had thought about putting them in the smoker down there and smoking them. So I don't know. I want to try smoking some probably catfish first. Catfish or crappie or brim or something like that before I attempt a bowfin. Jeff, they got to cook it somewhere. It's got to get up to a temperature somewhere or another. Well, Homestead Princess, you need to go back and watch some of last year's bowfin fishing. I like to take my 6.5 foot rod and a plastic. I like to fish with crawfish, like plastic little crawfish or brush hogs, Incredible culprit stuff. And I get them on there and I wade out about knee deep in the mud, slosh around. I took JR and Nikki down there last year. Now they had themselves ball, and I'm gonna get them back down there this year. Cause Nikki, she loved it. JR did too. And we got out in that mud, and I double them poles over, and they ain't nothing like hanging one on there. And I fish with 15-pound big game trilene. That line, I seldom have problems with it. And I have got some high-vis saltwater line I bought at Bass Pro Shop on one pole, and I used it a little bit yesterday when me and Brody was bass fishing, but I'm going to see how it works with bowfin. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, Michigan Prepper, I figured it had to be pressure canned, probably high, but I'm just curious of what the texture of the meat comes out. Is it going to be like a mush when you get done with it? Or, you know, I mean, after it's canned, in other words, what are you going to be able to do with it? Just make a soup? I mean, like tuna, after Jeffrey brought that up, canned tuna, about the only thing I do with that is tuna and crackers, and I like to mix it up with mayonnaise, and and that. I mean, that might be a novel idea, but now I don't need a quart jar of it. I can promise you that. We'll have to can it in them half-pint jars, them jelly jars. Be looking around, who's got a bunch of them Gerber Life baby food jars? We need a few. Come on. Yeah, Princess cut bait is by far king with grinnell. Now, hands down, cut bait is the best thing. Now we always went and got them big minnows and bait fish, and they work good. But a piece of cut bait it attracts them, seems to faster, in my opinion. A piece of cut bait is the thing to fish with if you really want to catch grinnell. But I'll be honest with you, my adrenaline on that plastic bait when he hits it, and I feel that da-doom, and I dip that pole down, my heart's doing this right here. And I wait for that line to stretch out, and just about the time it's stretched all the way out, I'll lay the hammer to him. And it's on. I mean, I'm excited. It's as much fun as killing a 12-point buck with a slingshot. It's fun. And it don't do it for everybody, but it does it for me. What, bud?
Love you.
I love you, buddy. I love you so much. Brody, do you like to catch grinnell?
Yeah.
When we gonna go catch grinnell? Soon as the water gets down?
We're going to go catch them in the morning.
No, remember when we went and looked at the water yesterday, it was flooded everywhere. We couldn't get down there to them. Soon as the water gets down there, we're going to go, ain't we?
When
Yeah.
are we having rat killing?
I don't know. You ready to have a rat killing?
Yeah.
We're going to have one in Louis. Uncle Sasquatch, we'll see you later, my friend. Leonard, I don't know about canning fish, but I heard about using the vinegar to firm the meat up. I don't know about canning them. Watch that hatchet. Let me have
What's
that.
it for?
I was showing it to them people a while ago. I don't need it for nothing. But you just keep it over here, though. I don't want you getting cut with it.
I didn't know it was right there.
Richard T. Me and my buddy over in Alabama have been discussing this carp deal for forever. And our swamp has literally been out of the banks. I hadn't been able to get back down there to catch them in them low water crossings yet since then. So, I guess I probably could have when I went and run them lines, but I didn't ever go and cross no low water crossings. And they probably through doing their spawn now, but I was going to try to get a carp and cook it. There is a page on Facebook I found about smoking fish. I should have joined it, but you can read through it. And about the only thing that we've got down south that I seen anybody smoke was brim. I ain't saying they brined it before they smoked it, and I don't know if it was preservation or if that was just a method of cooking they was doing. I wasn't on there where I could ask questions, and I just kind of scanned over it. Yeah, I'm sure both ends gonna be low on that list for canning, Michigan Prepper. I'm willing to bet you. Brody, Tommy said, "Hey."
Hey, Tommy.
He can't see you. You just lay it sitting on the ground. Stand up where he can see you.
Hey, Tommy.
Linwood Vowel, how are you? They say carp is actually good. I don't know now. Grateful Ed, I've never tried it. So my verdict's still out on it, but I heard some people saying it was actually really good. I don't know.
Whoa.
Philip said, Brody, what kind of bait are you going to use next time you go fish?
A jig.
A jig. All right. You used a lizard the other day, didn't you?
Yeah. I'm gonna use a lizard with a cork and a hook on it.
Cork and a hook.
Yeah.
I seen Clay Hayes smoked a mullet the other day. He did a video on smoking mullet down there somewhere in Florida, I'm assuming, where he, I don't know right where Clay Hayes lives down there in Florida, but he,
With a big piece of lead on it.
big piece of, well, tell him, they the ones ask.
I use a jig with a piece of line on it on my fishing pole. With a cork, hook, a jig bait, lizard, and a cork.
I can't see where carp would not be edible.
Hey, Dad,
They may not be the best thing. I don't know.
Daddy,
What?
you just had to get two bait and put them on together on a hook.
Put two baits on the hook.
Yeah, so two.
That ought to double your chances for catching a fish, oughtn't it?
Yeah,
It ought to be twice as good if it's got two baits.
and then you need your two tackle bags for all your bait that says your name on it.
You need your name on your tackle bag? Why you need your name on it? In case you forget which one's
No,
yours?
on the tackle box.
Oh.
All your bait in it. So you know which one is yours.
Yeah. Well, you afraid you'll forget which one yours is?
And then you need to carry a bag to put a big chunk of liquid.
Look, you lay that hatchet over on that table.
Okay.
I'm afraid you're gonna flop around on it and get your. It's got a guard on it, but that don't mean nothing with him.
And then you have to put a big old chunk of lead on it. So you catch them.
Tommy said you wanted them fish to know who caught them, didn't you? That's why you put your name on your tackle bag.
Yep. That's how you know which one's yours.
Yeah.
So it won't be somebody else's.
Look, my beaver has done. He's gonna have to just stay flopping around.
They had to
Got
drill.
to, need to tie a string to that thing, don't we? Where to stay up there.
No, we
I tell you.
need to drill a hole in there.
No, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. I'm gonna throw this chair away, put it in a burn. I'm gonna burn it in there, and we're gonna hang a swing right back here. I want my swing. My intentions was, but I want to. I've seen the swing I want. It's made out of logs. I may build one. I don't know. I probably can't build one though that's as comfortable as the one I saw or look as good. Y'all, Brody will line you out now. He can tell you what he's doing. Underground Customs, you been hiding lately. I don't see much out of you no more. I figured you done got mad at us too and run off. We done made a bunch of folks mad here in the last few weeks. We done lost I don't know who all. Be alright though. They was probably looking for a reason to go. I just knew since I hadn't seen you in a while you was swelled up at me. Martin, I hadn't. I hadn't seen a box lately. Oh. No, Huckleberry, we didn't need them. Oh man, sorry to hear. We'll be praying for your wife. Crawfish. If you look on the Etsy store, there is a shirt that has "Put 'em in the cooler" on the back of it. It is from Brody saying that. So there is a "Put 'em in the cooler." Got Spirit Outdoors logo on the front. It says "Put 'em in the cooler" on the back. I was gonna wear it yesterday while we were fishing, filming a video, and I can't find mine. I ordered one shirt like that so I'd have one from the Etsy shop. Oh yeah, Amanda. And I'll tell you what it is, people getting upset. A lot of it is newer people that just showed up. The negative comments really ain't old people I've lost. Hey, hush. I have lost a few people that were longtime followers or had been following for a while, got mad. But a lot of the negativity, the more negativity you get is a sign of growth. That means new people is seeing your stuff, that you're in the algorithm. And I sat down and really mulled this over this week. And I thought, I could get frustrated because to sit here and act like, well, the comments don't bother me. I don't care. I do care what people think. I mean, you're human. You care, It may not affect nothing. I ain't going to change nothing. But you care. Hush, 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 hush. But negative comments is a sign of being an algorithm and new people. Everybody's not going to like you. Everybody's not going to like me. Hush. You need to be in there watching Scooby-Doo or something. Me and him has been on a Scooby-Doo kick. We've watched The Witch's Ghost, Monster in Mexico, The Pirates, Camp Scare, I don't know what all. And we've got my favorite one we can't find. So I got on eBay and ordered one. And that is Zombie Island? Yeah, Zombie Island's coming. We've been on a Scooby-Doo kick, though. Yeah, Huckleberry, this one here is made by Nikki. JR and Nikki made all of these shirts. And they sell them. You probably got to buy them through their Facebook page. They both have a Facebook page. I don't know if it's linked to JR's channel. You have to get on JR Willis's channel, YouTube channel. You can find them through there. But when they came up here last year, I bought a handful of shirts from them. Because I love tie-dyed shirts. I reckon I'm a Mississippi hippie from way back when. But I love tie-dyed shirts. I do not allow the LGBTQ community to have the rainbow. It's not theirs. I'm not mad at them. I don't hate them. I don't even dislike them. They can do what they want to. As long as they leave me alone, I'll leave them alone, but they can't have the rainbow. Not the tie-dye one. The tie-dyed is mine. And the reason I say that is I have done videos of somebody tie-dyed on, especially during the month of June, and people start talking about pride. I'm like, this ain't pride, this is Mississippi hippie. We like our tie-dyed down here, and I ain't willing to give it up, I ain't mad at them folks. They can do what they want to. I ain't against them. I mean, I don't agree with them, but I ain't against them, in other words. You see what I'm saying? I'm a live and let live kind of person. I look at something and I may not like it, may not agree with it. I might think it's wrong. I ain't going to hate them and criticize. I mean, Anyway, that's a whole nother. We ain't getting into that. I ain't even. But anyway, they made a whole bunch of tie-dyed shirts, a bunch of different designs and patterns, and this one is really cool. I don't know how they made it. They've got a video on their channel last summer making a bunch of probably some of these shirts, actually. I try to get her. Sometimes Nikki's on here. She sees this, she'll leave a comment. But you can get on there. I'll try to share their Facebook if they've got a post from selling their shirts. Get on my Facebook page, and I'll get a link at some point in my Facebook page to their Facebook. And if you're on Facebook, we can find you to some of these shirts. They make the coolest shirts. I mean, handmade, custom shirts there, and that's the way to go. I'm probably going to unlock a tie-dyed shirt on the Etsy store with a Spirit of the Outdoors logo on it. The problem is those tie-dyed shirts on there are high. You can buy them from Nikki a whole lot cheaper. They won't have Spirit of the Outdoors on them. But I do want tie-dyed shirt with Spirit of the Outdoors on it because I like tie-dyed shirts. the crawfish, I don't know what something means or stands for has no bearing on me at all. It's about whether I like it or not. I couldn't tell you what it means. I don't have no idea. Now, I know they use the rainbow, like the colors, for the gay pride. But that, originally the rainbow was a sign from heaven that it wouldn't flood the earth no more with water. It wouldn't destroy the world with water. It's a promise. Oh, but now tie dye, I just like tie dyed. I don't what it means. I couldn't. Somebody may can tell you what I don't know, but it don't mean nothing to me. It's just I like tie dyed. It's like do rags. Somebody, this color do rag means this and that means that. It don't mean nothing to me. It means I like a do rag. Tommy, you hit the nail on the head. Tommy, tell you what it means. And for those of you watching on TV at home that don't know what tie-dye means, Tommy answered the question. Tie-dye means they tie a knot or two in the cloth and then dip it in the dye, and when you untie it, a pattern comes out. That's what tie-dye means. I love that, Tommy. My hat's off to you for coming up with that on the fly. I like that. I had to share that with everybody watching at home. So I guess, yeah, that is, and that, I love that. Dinah, I don't know. I don't know what all. Tie-dye neckerchiefs. I'm sure, probably so. I tried to do some tie dye one time myself, and our dye faded bad. I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, when we first done it, it come out and looked really cool. And my phone says it ain't wanting to cooperate for a long time tonight, so I don't know how long we're gonna be on here. But anyway, after we washed it a time or two, it faded bad. So, man, we need to be tapering it off out here. We done dropped down below 100 folks are watching. But most everybody don't watch all night. Most people hopping on and hopping off, and I don't blame you not one bit. There ain't no way I'd sit and watch somebody do a live for 2 or 3 hours. I'll just tell you, I wouldn't endure the whole thing. I stay on here though long enough because I ain't doing nothing else, no way, but going to have a rat killing and then may watch Scooby Doo. I don't know. Uh, but basically, so that the people that's late can get on for a few minutes later on. I don't expect nobody to sit here and endure 3 hours of me sitting here talking. I really don't, y'all. My hat's off to you that do. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It really does. Greg, thank you. All right, Martin, I'll be keeping an eye out for it. It may show up here tomorrow, but I will say this, Martin. The last few packages that we've shipped, and Miss Mary, when you watch this, please don't crucify me. It ain't got nothing to do with mail carriers, not the delivery people. It's the system of shipping. We've watched packages in the mail go from here, there to yonder, and I done heard a whole bunch of people talking about losing pack, like tracking them, and all of a sudden the tracking just go off. In fact, Log Cabin Looms was watching a pack. They finally just shipped him another whole shipment. He said the tracking went away on his for a while. He said, and after about 2 or 3 weeks, it come back on and took off somewhere else. So, but we've shipped some pottery stuff that took like, I think we shipped something to Miss Sue the other day, and it took forever to get there. And it just went from here, there to yonder. So I don't know. Miss Mary is a mail lady, and y'all, I know the mail people work hard. We have good deliverers here. When it hits our post office and comes here, we got 2 or 3 in rotation. We have great mail people. I have no complaints with our people that deliver here. It's not there doing. It's in the system, the trucking. I don't know the. Anyway, I don't understand how it works because I don't work in there, but I do know you can watch that track and it'll go to this town and this town and that town, back to this town and then to there again. I don't know. Outdoors. Uh-huh. I missed something there. Homestead Princess, you said, do they disrespect? Who disrespect? I think you talking about somebody leaving. One guy got mad because I was opening packages too often. He said he thought I was on here begging for, I I guess begging for money or whatever. I don't know. People get upset about the least little things. Um, you'd think, if I was gonna get aggravated at somebody, it would be over like some major something. But I have found in personal experience through running this channel for like 5 or 6 years, the people that get the maddest is over the smallest things. It's like stuff that I know that I would be like, why would that even bother? Why would this bother you? We're all gonna have different opinions on things. I'm gonna disagree with most of you on something. You know, it's okay that we disagree, that we don't, that I don't do every. I mean, it's like me doing videos. I do a lot of different content. It's natural that there's going to be some things I film that you're just not going to be interested in. It should be that way. I mean, if you like everything I do, that's going to be a more rare thing with as much variety as I do. And I figure, that is one of the reasons I keep my preaching for the most part to one series of videos on Sunday. And that way, if there's people that's just like, I don't like religion, I don't want nothing to do with religion, I don't want to force it on them. I try to contain it to one video over here. Now, I don't hide my religion. I'm not ashamed of it, but I'm not going to like beat you in the face with it on every video. My lives is kind of a free thing. We talk about everything here. I don't, no punches is held back. I steer away from politics and for the most part on everything. I steer away from politics in normal conversation unless it's somebody that I really know very well, and we may discuss a few things, but I'm not much on politics in general. Honest to God, I don't like politicians. I don't even like the concept. It So with all that being said, people get mad over the silliest stuff. And usually they won't even. A lot of times they won't tell you what. They'll get aggravated that you have maybe you like some artist that they don't like. Well, they'll swell up and quit watching you because of it. I'm sure you like a whole bunch of stuff I don't like. I mean, I'm okay with that. I want you to watch my channel if you like, whatever. I don't I don't reckon there's anybody that I just dislike because of the way they are or something they do. I'm kind of like this. If you treat me good and you treat me with respect, I ain't saying you got to walk around and, like buttered me up or whatever, whatever you want to call it. I'm just saying, if as long as you ain't hateful to me, we got a mutual respect. I'll be good to you. I like you. Regardless of what you are or where you come from or what race you are or if you're straight or gay or whatever. If you like religion or if you don't like religion at all, if you believe in God, if you don't think there is a God, we can all still be friends and respect each other. I don't expect all of us to agree on everything. That don't change what I think or believe, but people people will watch your channel and they decide, you know what, he likes this that I don't like. Well, I ain't watching him no more. That's silly, you know. I mean, really. And I've had people get mad because we had conversations on live about something that maybe got on a subject that they really wasn't happy about, and get mad and never watch again. Yeah. But that kind of stuff is childish, you know. I mean, and it tells you that they're a very selfish person, and that everything has to be their way and has to agree with them, which is kind of the way the world is now. So anyway, Tommy. Yeah, he got, and you know, Tommy, the thing about the package, fella, I would have never made a big deal out of it. I really wouldn't have. Except for the fact that he sent me a package to open on camera for his business. Because I, that's what blew my mind. I'm like, really? After you have sent me a package for me to open on camera so that everybody would see it, and, you know, then that's the thing you're going to be mad about. That's, you know. Anyway. Lowell Yarber, thank you. Yeah, I'm going back and picking up comments. Somebody's replied to comment. James said people get mad because fish tastes like fish. It's the truth. People get, it's silly stuff. Yeah, and Lyle Yarber, that is the reason I keep my preaching contained, because everybody don't like religion. Everybody ain't ready to meet God. Everybody don't believe in God. I mean, I'm okay with that. You know, as long as you're not trying to convince me that there's not a God, I won't argue with you that there is. Which I'm not going to argue religion. If somebody gets in the comments on my religious stuff and starts trying to debate I don't do that. I'll reply and back up what I have said with a reply. After that, I'm done with it. I am not arguing religion, because there's way too many flavors of religion, and 90% of them are wrong, because everybody can't be right. Now, for me to sit here and tell you which one's is right and which one's wrong, I can't do that either. I want to lean to believe what I believe is right, but everybody does too. But I do know that everybody can't be right. So I ain't going to sit here and argue over it. You know, I mean, I got an opinion, I'm firm on it, and that's it. We ain't going to argue about it. But a lot of people, that is one of their hobbies, is wanting to try to find religious stuff to argue over. And I get them, I've had a bunch get mad because I preach with a do-rag on my head. And I'm going to continue. The madder they get, I mean, until I feel convicted about it in my heart and feel like God's saying, hey, you need to change this, I'm not going to change for people. I will change for God now, obviously. But I mean, it's junk like that. I mean, they'll comment just so they want to try to get you. They'll start throwing scripture and this, that, and the other, and all their scripture ain't got nothing to do with what I'm doing, you know. So. Richard T said, when is Roscoe going to father some more pups? Well, I heard through the grapevine he was trying today, so I don't know. We'll see. Outdoors Dreadhead, yeah, the boy got mad. I don't know if he got mad because he got mad on a video of Brody opening packages, but he seemed to believe that my Amazon link was for people to get on there and buy packages to send to Brody. Now, I walked off and left Brody talking to the camera, and Brody was sitting there saying something about sending me alligator hunting stuff. And he's a kid carrying on, and in the video, I said, Brody, don't be asking for stuff, and left it in there. And I just left it in the video because him over there talking to the camera was cute, in my opinion. And in no way do we need, Brody don't need no toys, y'all. I want to be clear on it. Brody's got a floor in there you can't walk in. Brody's not short on toys. If Brody don't never get another toy, he's got more than he can play with. The reason we do package opening videos is there's some people that really love Brody that like to send him stuff, and they like to see the excitement on his face and his expressions of opening it. And that is why it's shared. It is not to get people to send stuff. And for somebody to get mad because they think, well, you're on here begging for stuff, I ain't trying to make a living off YouTube. I film YouTube videos for the fun of it. So that means that I can't be canceled, and I get to do what I want to do when I want to do it. If you're in something for the money, you can be canceled and you can be forced to do things you don't like and don't want to do, I don't. I do what I want to do here. And I keep it, as long as I'm clean with God above, that's the only one I worry about. Yeah, Amanda, she watches ladies and all they do is open packages. One of my favorite things at Log Cabin Looms, Mr. Shoe up there at Log Cabin Looms does, and I don't watch a lot of his videos because he gets way off on politics, and some of it I agree with, some of it I don't. And I say that just so you don't know whether I'm Republican or Democrat, because I ain't neither one. And I don't know that he really leans one way or the other to hear him talk. I think he probably leans a little more Republican than Democrat. But I don't care nothing about, I just don't get into that. So I don't watch a lot of his politics stuff. But I love to watch him open packages because he goes through this stuff from all over the United States, and it's to hear him reply. One of the funniest videos I have ever watched is him opening a package from the church had sent him. It was a Christmas package that some of the ladies from one of the local church had sent him. And y'all, I laughed till my sides hurt at him opening them packages up, talking about them and making comments. And for somebody to not like that, if you don't like it, don't watch it. But it's yeah, Amanda, I'm going back reading comments from up here because I get to talking and there'll be 20 comments come by. There's no way I can keep up with what's going on. I go back and read something, and I keep everything hopping back and forth. Best way not to break a pitchfork is to not use one. I don't use a pitchfork holder. The only thing I use, I think it's a 3-prong. It's a flimsy one. Old thing. And all I do is loading pine straw with it, really. When I cut this wheat out here, I'll use it. Oh man, I know it. I'm just kind of hopping around, looking at comments and trying to see what I missed, and because I miss some pretty good comments people leave on here, and then I don't never see them. I'm going way back up now. All right, I think most of that stuff up there I had read. Greg, what kind of dog is Roscoe? I've had a bunch of people ask about Roscoe. His mama was what we call a feist, which is just a small breed of dog. Technically, I think from the vet, my wife worked at a vet for several years before we started pottery. The whole time I was metal roofing, really, she worked at a vet for a long time. And a feist is really not a special breed of dog. It is just a small breed of dog. And it could be several bloodlines, like Jack Russell, Rat Terrier, and I don't know what all. So I really don't know what Roscoe is in the whole ball of wax. But his mama was a smaller Chihuahua-looking mixed feist. The real short-legged small dogs, not like little bitty like Chihuahua, but I don't know, real small. The daddy was a black stray that come by, but it was a black, little bit bigger, fast looking, short haired dog, but it was solid black. And they was about 4 or 5 puppies that looked just like Roscoe as far as color. One of them was white with brown, big brown patches. The other two were white with black patches. And I think they were 3 altogether. And the other 2 didn't make it. They lived a couple of years. One of them got ran over. I think both of the other ones may have got ran over. They both got killed somewhere. I knew who had them, but Roscoe, we went up there and got him, and my pit bull had just died, and I went up there and got him. So I really don't know. Being people have asked, I have thought about doing that where you send off the DNA and get the results to see what all breeds is in it. Out of curiosity, I would like to. So yeah, he's a mixed. If you moving wood chips, Homestead Princess, you need a scoop. We used to use those flat metal snow shovel type things, and is what we used and I say we, when I first got out of high school, I went into landscaping. I stayed there about 5 or 6 years, and I loved it. Just wasn't no money in it for me, and no room to make no room to grow, but I loved it. Um, and that's where I learned a lot about plants and growing stuff. And we had big, huge mulch piles, which we run the Bobcat or front end loader up in there and loaded trucks. But a lot of times we loaded it on small amounts. I would go out there and load it like if I was putting it around beds at the nursery. I did nursery manager for a year or so there, and I would have to take care and prep beds and stuff and do stuff on the site. And I would just load a wheelbarrow and we would use a shovel. Then when I got to doing the landscaping out, doing houses, we would dump it all on a trailer with a Bobcat, and then you'd have to clean that trailer off. And we always used these scoops, and they work good, but you've got to start at the bottom and go in. You can't just dig in the top of the pile. So that is one of the downsides to that. If you're going to weld with a stick welder, you got to start out with a 7018. Come on. That's what everybody. I like them 6011s when I started welding this tubing that them trusses is made out of. But get you a wire welder. That's the way to go. Need you some argon 7525 mixed in with it. If you can write your name, you can weld. Richard T, I have posted every time Roscoe has had. I got a neighbor lady up here that Roscoe has a litter of puppies pretty regular up there, and she tries to give them all away. And I've had a bunch of people ask, and I'll tell them about them every time, and they ain't nobody that I know of ever got one of them puppies. She winds up having to give them away to somebody. So I have. And I had some people wanting to come up here and breed their dog to Roscoe, and I never heard nothing out of them. So I will let y'all know if she has some puppies. I'll take a picture. They'll most definitely show up on my Facebook page, on the Spirit of the Outdoors Facebook page. But I might try to put a picture on a community post or something, or get it in a video. I don't know. We'll see. James Honeycutt, if you ever eat a grinnell, you'll never throw it nothing away. If you'll take him home, fillet him out, and turn it light to grease while you headed over there to fillet him. Let it be warming up. And meal him and fry him right there. And if you want to do it better, load your fish cooker up and carry it to the creek with you. And if you'll fillet him on the tailgate of your truck or on the boat seat, and throw him in that cornmeal and then throw him in that hot grease, you'll never throw nothing away. Alicia, are you riding a rocking chair? I feel like you riding a rocking chair now, ain't you? Amanda, I got one of them helmets. Turns dark when you spark. Them things is high now. I bought mine 15 years ago. There's $350 in. I don't know what they cost now. That's why I have took good care of it. I don't weld every day no more. Squirrel dogs and grinnell, yep. We're gonna always gravitate to dogs and fish some way or another. The only thing is we don't do watermelon wine much. Do they do okay on a stringer? Don't you put 2 or 3 on a stringer? I tell you what I done. If I ain't ready to cook both in when I get home, I got a 55-gallon barrel down there. I can turn the aerator on and throw them in there. And I pulled, you can ask Alicia when they come to eat. When I got them both in out of that barrel, they was way more alive and flopping around and lively than when I catch them and bring them home and cook them. That aerator had them charged up. I mean, so anyway. Grinnell is very good. Yeah, Ed Smith, I figured out what you was talking about. I knew you wasn't eating bowling balls, and I knew you wasn't putting bowling balls on a stringer. I had that figured out. You know, some people they want to call you out on that kind of stuff. If I can figure out what you're talking about, I roll with it. Hey. Tell us more about what? I'm up to speed now. I'm on top of things. The aerator. It's just like a fish tank. Basically, we had a fish tank in the house that we got tired of fish dying in there and us watching them die. So I pulled the aerator. It's one of those Walmart aerators with the 2 air lines that just come out and go down in the bottom of the tank, make bubbles. So I put 2 long lines on them and dropped them in the bottom of that 55-gallon barrel, and the aerator just sits up on a board up there. Get up. What are you doing? And it sets up on a board up there, and I just plug it up. And I mean, it's simple. It's just a 55-gallon plastic barrel, and it's almost full of water. The water's probably about that far down in it. Now I filled it up with rainwater, and when I got it to put bait fish in, and when I'm putting bait fish like sun perch and stuff in it, I don't keep them in there all the time. But if I know, hey, I'm finna go to Tombigbee River and set out catfish lines, I'll start running my bait traps. Or if I know I'm finna go to the creek down here and run lines for a weekend, I'll start running my bait traps in these ponds, and I'll put them bait in that barrel, and then I'll dip them all out when I get ready to go. And if I'm doing that, I'll add a little bit of that better bait to it, which turns the water blue. So, yeah, I mean, it's very simple. Very simple. Yeah, and what I do, I put them on a stringer a lot. I'll tell you what me and Jimmy was gonna do. We was gonna be fishing down at Ross Barnett, or we was in the Pearl River down there above Ross Barnett, hour and a half from the house. Well, we knew we had a cooler in the boat to put fish on ice. And I'm like, this ain't gonna work. We're not gonna be able to catch a bowfin down here. So had we have caught a grinnell that day down there, our plan was to take a piece of tarred bank line. I was gonna run it through his gills with a loop and loop him on there and tie him off to a limb over there on a stringer, and we was gonna keep fishing and leave him in the water on a stringer. And basically, what I was going to do was take about 4 foot of tarred bank line with a loop on it, and put one bowfin on each one if we caught it. You know, go over there and leave them on a stringer. But I have put 2 or 3 on there. My experience, if you put more than one bowfin, hey y'all, phone died right in the middle of everything.
Dad.
Y'all still with us? I know a bunch of people done got off. We got it back on. Y'all are lagged. I'm just now seeing on my comments. Hang. Anyway, if you're still here, uh, if you get 2 or 3 bowfin on there, they get to jerking and pulling on that, and they'll rip the gills out of one of the other fish, and it'll kill them. And the reason I know this is I had 2 I tied on there and put in a tank of water. I think I put them in this barrel down there when I got home, and I left them on the stringer, dropped them in there. I was like, so I can just grab them and pull them out. And in a matter of about 3 or 4 hours, when I come back, one of them was dead and floating. And when I went to clean it, it wasn't good. So anyway, yeah, and my phone died, y'all. I knew it blinked out. I knew I was getting close, but in my mind, at 10 o'clock, I was going to shut it down anyway. So anyway, y'all, I am fixing to shut it down. Amanda, when the meat when a bowfin dies, it starts breaking down, and the way I tell is I fillet it out, and when I start filleting it, you'll see that meat start gumming up on your fillet blades because you got 2 blades doing like this. It'll start getting gummed up between them. And then when you get to fillet, when you make that first cut and you flop that other side over to fillet out of the skin, you can take your hand and wipe it down there. And if you wipe your hand down that meat, you'll get a big puddle of meat on you. It'll just start mushing off. If it does that, I'm done with it. Now you can take your knife and scrape all that off, and what's still solid you can cook. But at that point, you're losing a lot of meat fast, and your time is of the essence. So, it's once it puts in water, it speeds all that up. So anyway, but yeah, y'all, I am fixing to shut this down and go in. It is 10:17. It'll be 10:30 before I ever get everything turned off. The phone's died. I did have my charging pack right here, ready to plug up to it. I should have went over there a while ago and plugged it up to it, but y'all got to go to bed. I better quit this and turn this off so some of y'all can get some sleep. I imagine there's a bunch of y'all got to get up and go to work in the morning. I got to go to work, but I ain't got to do early. Oh yeah, Homestead Princess night fishing is a big thing, especially catfishing, and they say crappie bite good at night. So anyway, thank y'all for hanging out with me tonight, y'all, and chit-chatting about this, that, and the other, some religion, some fishing, some cooking, some whatever. We get off into some deep topics on Friday Night Live. I thank y'all, though, for hanging out and enjoying life with me. I appreciate y'all wanting to know what I got to say and asking questions. And it's fun to me to sit here and just chat. And all the new people that I have met, some of y'all that have been on the last few nights. It's the first time I've seen some of y'all on here. Welcome to the family. Spirit of the Outdoors is a big old family of people that there's a huge network of prayer that works through here. So anyway, glad y'all all stayed here and watched. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one.